go.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to the Bay's Fuego and Sonrisa podcast.
Hey,
It's your boy Fuego.
and this is Señor Sonrisa, 777.
Hey, yo, welcome back. Welcome back. Your boys are back.
I'm so excited to be back. You know?
Thank you, guys. I know it's been a long time since we podcast. I know you guys have gone through a lot, as have us.
Oh, yeah.
And, just quick little thing. Just wanted to let you guys know that, the reason I was gone for a little bit was I decided to take the summer off. I know I let you guys know, but I just want to re-let you guys know that I decided to take the summer off because my daughter was here visiting, and it's all good. We got some White Claws. We're not sponsored by White Claw, but we have.
But if they want to.
Shout out my boy, Senor Sonrisa. He came through with the pack. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me over.
Hell yeah.
Man, I miss it.
So yeah, I just went. I mean, we were here for the summer. She went back to her home. So now I'm able to refocus on the podcast, start bringing new content for you guys. Feels really good to come back. Feels really good. Feel like my first day of school where you're trying to take out the cobwebs and you're like, that's how I always felt. Like,
yeah.
I always felt like if I missed one day of school, especially in high school, I always felt awkward coming back the next day.
That's true. Then you have all that anxiety, like pent up, like, oh my god, what do I remember? How am I gonna do it? What am I gonna do?
And it's like, oh yeah, we had an exam yesterday. And you're like, damn. I'm like, oh man, because I was like the kid who would be like, I would just like sometimes when I didn't want to go, I would like pretend I'm sick.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd miss a day here and there. I'm like, Mom, like I'm not feeling good. Like I don't know. I just woke up sick. And then hour later after she says it's fine, it's like I'm watching TV, chilling regular. She's like, sick, huh?
I was like, that's a good kind of sick. Let's go.
Yeah. So I guess speaking of being sick.
Shit, here we go.
So I had gone out to celebrate my 29th birthday. You guys might have seen my picture on Instagram. Shout out to everybody who was there. It was fun.
That's cool.
And I came home and like I was fine. I was hungover or whatever, right? And then I thought it was just a smoke in there. I think at first I thought it was a smoke because at the time it was like the clouds were like super red or brown or I don't even remember how it was, but it was like this. The whole sky was pretty much covered in smoke.
Oh yeah, because of the fires.
Yeah, because of the fire. So my nose was super like runny. My throat was hecka itchy. My eyes were like watery, and I was just thinking like oh, possibly it's the smoke. But then a week passed, and I was like, yo, like. Because I was fine. My daughter was shit, but I wasn't fine. I was just dealing with all this, but my daughter, she was fine. She was regular. And then she's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean your throat itches? What do you mean? You had these symptoms. And I was just like, what the heck? Then I started questioning myself. Wait a minute. If it's just smoke, it shouldn't be this bad. I'm dying here. So I went and bought an air purifier.
Mm-hmm.
And I started.
How much did that cost?
I think it was like $40.
Oh,
40,
was that
50.
bad? Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. So then I got it and it worked and it's working. So that's pretty cool. But then we were supposed to go to Santa Cruz to celebrate a family trip for my birthday.
I see.
And I went and take a shower. When I took a shower, I got out and I just felt worse. And I was like,
that's crazy.
I was like, what the heck? I'm like, hold up, you know what? What if I have COVID? What if I got COVID? I just started thinking about oh snap. I was like, well, if I have COVID, I can't go because I'm not trying to get nobody sick. It's a big spot. It's a hot spot.
Yeah.
So went online and I found this Walgreens sells I think it's called Binex. It's the company's called Bot, but it's Binex. It's a at-home COVID testing. So I was like, all right. So then I got a DoorDash and then I was able to check right away. And yeah, even before, because you have to you have to put the cotton swab up your nose, and then you have to go around it. You have to go around it 5 times, then go the other way, counterclockwise, clockwise and then counterclockwise, and then and then you have this solution that you put in, and after that you put in the Q-tip, and then you close it, and then you wait 15 minutes, and it gives you your answer. Not even before I even closed it to wait, I already saw the line forming. I was like, damn. I was like, let me just see. But I had my mask on and everything because I was like, you know what? Until I know, I'm going to just keep my mask on, especially because the babe was here. And we were separated, so that was cool.
That's good, yeah.
So, yeah, and then I had it on and then, yeah, and then when I checked, I was like, oh, yep, I got COVID. I was like, dang. So, I mean, luckily, I didn't have it too bad. The only thing I felt was fatigue. I couldn't breathe. I lost my taste buds. I couldn't smell.
That's so crazy. That's like everybody's symptom. Like
Yeah.
that's the main symptom of COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody loses taste.
It's heck annoying.
I would hate if everything just tasted bland. Like you're trying to eat an apple, nothing. You eat fucking juice, nothing.
Yeah.
Tequila, nothing. Oh god, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know.
That
You
sounds
get
terrible.
drunk, you can't even taste it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I was just like, damn, like I was just like laying pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I just lay pretty much, and it basically took me like a week to recover, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daughter's grandma, she hooked me up with some, I think, Pedialyte, so I drank hell of that.
This is good for electrolytes.
Yeah, I just try to I just try to have like vitamin D. I'm not saying guys go do this. I'm just saying I'm just telling my experience, like what I did. And I basically did that, and
Pretty
then
sure you rested a lot too, right? I'm guessing.
yeah, I mean I try to sleep a lot, but
I see.
I mean I will say other things I did, but
Not included.
but
That's the bonus section of the DVD.
that's on the Patreon, guys. You guys gotta go to the Patreon.
That's right.
But yeah, I was pretty much all good. Yeah, a week later I took my test and I was good. I was recovered, so that was good because I was like, I wanted to make sure that I was fine. I wanted to make sure I was keeping my daughter safe.
Mm-hmm.
I had my mask on the whole time. She had her mask on the whole time, and we had the air purifier going the whole time. I have sanitizer wipes, so we were doing that. I was sanitizing everything because I was fine. Like I was able to move around and stuff, but it was just like I just didn't want to like risk it. Like I didn't want to overdo it.
I think the big thing that really helped was the fact that first you were aware that you had the symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were aware that you got tested and everything. The second that you had an air purifier, that really helps. If I don't know if you didn't have that, your daughter might have gotten it because you're just breathing in the same air. So that was, I think, a big. That was very smart of you that you got that.
Oh, thank you.
So it seemed like, and then you guys were separated. You said so.
Yeah.
All those three things in factor. And you were taking care of yourself, sleeping a lot. That's probably why, and you're young.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In respect to like human age.
Yeah.
You're what, 29?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like if somebody already has an illness, or they have they're older, or they have like a low immune system, I totally understand why COVID would affect as much as it did.
Yeah.
Because I was able to feel like how it felt, and I could see the power in COVID. Like I can see the power in this disease.
9,000.
Yeah, I was like, dang, if anything was worse, bro, I don't know, right? I don't know, but I was very fortunate for sure. But I was just like, so guys, like I had COVID over the summer. That was like basically more like I had fun with my daughter the whole time, but it was just like a 2-week period where it was just like recovering from COVID. Yeah. I was like, but other than that, it was a cool summer.
Other than actually getting sick,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
No, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, like for example, I have family members who know the story of what happened to my father, and I have other family members on my dad's side that passed away from COVID recently, an aunt and a few other people. I wasn't very close, but I just know that they passed away. But it seems to me that the people that are like far gone in the conspiracies, the people that are, they don't believe it until it happens either to somebody they've seen or somebody or themselves. To be frank,
yeah.
I have a family member who's gonna have a big event. I won't say the type of event, but they're having a big event. It's gonna be a lot of people. They're gonna have family members that don't believe in vaccine. They don't believe in anything, and it's gonna be a closed off event. And I don't know, like my uncle who has cancer. I mean, he's definitely not gonna go to that event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has like stage 4 cancer, for very obvious reasons. But it's hard because it's like you want to see certain family members, but it makes it real difficult when other family members don't pull up their weight. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, my uncle who has stage 4 cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stage 4 meaning it's the cancer has spread all the way down to the bone, and it's spread all over his body. So it's really, he's living on pretty much borrowed time, and it's, to be honest with you, it's very surprising that he's been alive this long, because you can actually see certain parts of the tumor on his face. it's very sad, and he's going through a lot of pain and stuff like that. So my mom wants to go see him. You know, she's been telling me like she wants to go, but because of that event, it makes it difficult logistically because the main person that has a place out there, you know, they're gonna go to that event, and people say they're gonna do something until the event actually happens, and then they're gonna completely change their behavior. And then once they go to that event, you know, they might say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna wear my mask. I'm gonna be very cautious." Blah 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 blah. And then when the event happens and they go, they might feel relaxed a little bit, take off their mask, dance, drink. You know, it happens to the best of us, but it's unfortunate because my mom really wants to see my uncle, and because he's living on borrowed time, it's very scary to know or think about the unknown. You know, he could pass away tomorrow, he could pass away a few months from now, but because certain family members are very, I would say, they just risky behavior in a time where we're living, you know? So as much as we want to see him now, because of that big event, it delays everything. And so now we're just playing Russian roulette. We're just playing, not Russian roulette. We're just playing some, I don't know, dice. We're gambling just to see if he'll make it past those few weeks so we can actually go out there and see him. You know what I'm saying? But as you can see, you know, it doesn't take much people to impact other people. You know what I'm saying? It could take just one person saying no, or I'm not gonna wear my mask, or I'm not gonna do this, you know. And you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, like, there's a trickle down effect in the sense of one person not taking an action can affect the other people around them. And we may not think it like that because we're told to think for ourselves in this day and age, but we need to think more like a community. Because the fact of the matter is, you're sharing space with other people, whether that is your family, whether that is you go to the bus, whether that is a train, you share space with other people, and your decision will affect others. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, guys. Just for me, I would just say, like, if you don't want to get the it just goes with everything you said, but it's just the way I think about it.
Yeah,
I think
everybody has their own.
I think if you're gonna not have the vaccine, I think just to be responsible, you know, I feel like without having the vaccine, there's a lot less that we're like, because I haven't got vaccine. Like, you have to wait, I think, like 2 weeks after you got COVID to go get a vaccine shot. But honestly, I'm still undecisive. I'm not sure yet. I mean, technically, I have antibodies for like 6 months, so I feel safe. Yeah,
the thing is, a virus, just like any other living thing, is gonna figure out ways to survive. So you might be good for the current virus, but if it decides to change on you, you know, your body might not know what the fuck, if it's a lambda or mu and nu or whatever the fuck the next Greek alphabet that's gonna be. You know, if it changes...
No, there's a new strand already. It's like C1. I just was reading about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole new strand coming out, I guess, even more deadlier.
Yeah, because the point of the virus is just going to adapt to its environment, and it's going to change, just like any other living thing.
Yeah.
Whether that's a cell, parasite, you know, whatever. It's going to find other ways to survive. It wants to survive. It wants to pass its genes, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just like us humans, when we have sex, the point of sex... there's a pleasure point, but our biological point of sex is to be able to pass genes on.
Yeah.
So we don't, you know, fucking die from the Black Plague or something. You know, one thing will just evaporate. You know.
Yeah.
Kill us all. So a virus is the same thing. It has DNA in it, and it wants to make sure it survives no matter what, and it will do everything it can to adapt to its environment.
Yeah.
So I mean, I recommend getting. And I have a certain bias because I used to work for the county, you know, and stuff like that. And I've been vaccinated, so I'm gonna admit that bias now. So people are like, "No, what you doing? What do you mean? Why you always talk?" Well, I had family members pass away.
Yeah.
I've been vaccinated. I used to work for the county, so these are my biases, and I'm letting you know. But the science has shown, biases aside, that you will be protected with these current vaccines. and Dr. Rhonda Patrick. I think she was on the Joe Rogan Experience recently.
Oh,
I know a lot of you guys like to listen to that, so I recommend watching that podcast and just coming in with an open mind. And she talks about the reasons why you should get the vaccine, even if you think you just had the virus or you think you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
She talks a lot more in depth. She's actual science. She'll use more data. So if you really want to watch it, just go to Spotify and go watch that podcast or listen to it.
We'll have the link here too. Yeah.
Yeah. So just so you can understand what's going on and you get that scientific aspect and not just some random dude from like Fresno telling you about why you should get vaccinated or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? So, you know, come on with an open mind. It's good to have an open mind anyway. So just go seek that information.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just so I can, because I wanted to say also, like, like if you're not vaccinated, you are not able to do a lot of things anymore, right? I don't know about here. I don't know if Contra Costa, like, I don't know if they're asking for vaccine passports yet. I'm not sure.
Not yet. No,
okay,
not
so.
yet. Yeah.
That's good to know. Just kidding.
But I know in the city, like certain bars won't even fucking. They won't take a risk.
No, at all. You can't. Not at all. In the city, you have to have a vaccine passport
they're
for
like,
sure.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's because it's a business
and I think LA too.
Yeah. But since I'm just talking about the Bay, just because we live out here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah. So in the city, like SF.
Yeah, and Berkeley now too.
In Berkeley for real? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain places just because, you know, we have to keep businesses running. This is the once in a lifetime pandemic we're living through. You guys gotta remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So they gotta think about, you know, business. You know, are they gonna have paying customers? And like, for example, if you had 100 paying customers, right? And say your job is to fucking distinguish who is vaccinated, who is not. That's a fucking heavy burden. And if you're sitting inside and you don't have air purifiers or whatever, that's a heavy burden to carry. If one person is not vaccinated and has it and doesn't know that they have it, man, that's a big hit to the business. That can close down your business. You're gonna have to wipe everything down. You're gonna have to. That's and 50% of the businesses are small businesses.
Yeah.
So if a small business takes that hit, sometimes they're living day to day. Small business, especially in SF where the rent is fucking $3,000 or something crazy, crazy businesses. Man, they have to fucking dot their I's and cross their T's. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't trying to have that financial hit.
Hell no.
To have a business in SF, you really gotta be fucking.
You gotta making hella money.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like the rent's like 30, 40, 50,000. Just on that, imagine that's your sales.
Yeah.
All you make is to pay rent. You make nothing.
Especially on restaurants and bars where you know you're not making shit. You're just making enough to barely support your employee. You do a restaurant. To be honest with you guys, a restaurant doesn't make shit when it comes to money. Even though it's expensive, they have to balance between being overly priced and being too cheap because they have to pay their employees. They got to pay rent. They got to pay electricity. Water, you know, when you go use a restroom, all that kind of shit, you know, and, you know, dishwasher, stuff like that. So they have expenses, you know, it's a business, right? And the margin of error for a restaurant is very little. Like, you have to make sure everything is cooked right, because if somebody gets sick, that's your ass on the line, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in a business sense, restaurants, bars, they have very little margin of error. They can't really fuck up too much. Because if they do, that could be the end of it. That could be the guillotine that cuts the head off, you know? So that's why they have to have that vaccine passport, because they're like, fuck all that. We ain't trying to, we ain't trying to lose our business, you know what I'm saying? We still want to serve drinks and have a good time and, you know, make sure everybody has a cool time, but, you know, there's going to be a cost to that, and whether you like it or not, it's going to happen, you know. It's happening more and more.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know, like, I don't know, I just feel like the reason why I'm not so oh yeah, like I'm trying to get the vaccine, like the reason why I'm not so rushing it, well, I mean, it's just like, I know it's like, oh, you got your daughter and all that, you know, like definitely, right? But as of now, like, you know what I'm saying, she's not here, so I'm kind of okay. And other than that, it's like, I'm normally just at the house. Like, I'm normally just working all the time. Like, I don't really go anywhere or anything. If anything, I'm bringing it back here to myself, and just. But I don't have nobody to get. That's the reason. These are my reasons. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, do it my way. Now, I'm only telling my reason, like my reason why. It's like, I just had COVID, so I have antibodies. Plus, I'm normally at the house all the time. That really just happened randomly, and that's the one thing to be aware of. That's why I really don't try to go out. And then other than that, it's like, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe I shouldn't be going out to, bars and stuff like that. I'm not saying I do anything bad. Like, honestly, I just enjoy myself. But, hey, maybe it's a sign. Like, you know what? How about you just stay your ass home right now? But I think if they ever got to the point where it was like, you can't go into a grocery store without it, then it's like, well, I mean, I got to eat,
I think it's different. I think everybody, is different. You know what I'm saying? You have very specific circumstances. You live by yourself.
But I just want to make my bad. I just want to be very clear. Like, I'm not saying like it's a conspiracy. I'm not like, I believe the vaccines help people. I also believe that if you don't want to take it, you don't have to.
Oh, I see. Good.
And I also have respect for like people who passed away. If I went out here and was like, yo, like the vaccine is fake, there's all a scam. It's like, I'm basically saying I don't have respect for everybody who died because of COVID. And I don't think that's cool. That's the reason why I'm not coming out and saying, oh, like, because I don't even think so. COVID is real. I already had it. There's no way I can even say, I can't say I had it.
Yeah.
I already felt all the symptoms, I already dealt with it.
And I tell you already my personal experience with it. So, I mean, now you have not just your experience, but you have other people to
I would feel even worse if I was like, oh, baby, man, what are you talking about? It's fake. Like, it's like, that's already way disrespect. I'm already crossing a line that is not even cool. Like, and I'm not like that, so I'm good. It's just like,
for me, it's now that I'm back in the dating game. By the way, ladies, hit
up the DM.
Calm down.
Hit up DM. No, I'm just saying, hey, why not?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah. No, but if I were to go on a date and somebody was so adamant about not getting a vaccine because they don't believe in it or because of a conspiracy, if it was a woman, you know what I'm saying, I would end the date right there. I say, you know what, this is like a boundary you would not cross.
Yeah.
I have somebody who personally passed away, somebody very dear to me, and this is just, we have agree to disagree. I hope you have a great night, and then I'll just move away, because it's that serious to me that I can't be with people who are just gonna believe anything they see on the internet. I can't be with people who won't take it seriously. I work in the medical field. I mean, I just can't. It's hard for me to fathom. It's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to understand why people won't get vaccinated. And I understand. I understand to a certain point, but to say, oh, well, no, like I had this one thing. But when I used to work in the county, Contra Costa. I had this one coworker of mine, and she was like, "Oh, well, she's pregnant, by the way. She's obviously pregnant. She's like, you can tell she's like at least a few months. Like, she's in it to win it. She's like at least 7 months pregnant, right? You know what I'm saying? Nice, you can see the baby bump. Cool. You can see she's almost ready to go, and she's still, to this day, she's still like, oh, well, I don't believe that. Like, saying this and that. I'm like, well. I told her just straight out, I wish my father even had a choice, because my father, he was very close to me, and I was fortunate enough to be in a position of power where I had, a choice to take, and I took it right away. I said, you know what, I'm gonna be with family for New Year's. I'm gonna take it, and I took it on around Christmas time, and then I took it again on New Year's.
Sick.
So I had that, option. But my father didn't. He was still considered the general public. He was over 60, but he wasn't considered. At the time, they were making special circumstances for the vaccine. And I almost feel like, how there's like survivor's guilt?
Yeah.
I almost feel like vaccine guilt, in the sense of, I wish, like, I had a position of power where I could have said something, but in a sense I couldn't have, because it was only for certain circumstances, and we didn't have enough of it, because we were still trying to get shipments from other states.
Yeah, no, they're doing rollouts.
Yeah, exactly. At that time, we're talking about December 2020.
Yeah, you guys can hear those conversations on our previous
episodes.
Yeah. Can we talk about it?
I didn't want to go too deep into it, but I do. To this day, I still think about it. And I still think about, like, man. I wish I could have like snuck out. I know this is weird, but I wish I could have just snuck out with the vaccine and jabbed my dad if I would have known. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of crazy like spy, like going in to the lab, sneaking in with no cameras, put it in my pocket somehow, and somehow the vaccine stays cold enough to where I can jab him in the arm. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend people, you know, but it's not my choice. It's your choice. It's the good thing about living in the United States, living in America. You got freedom. You got, you know, and that freedom comes with consequences.
Yeah, both of them.
So, you know, it is up to you. You can do whatever you want. I'm not here to preach. I'm just telling you things I would have done and the kind of guilt I still carry on to this day. And so, you know.
No, yeah, I feel you, brother. I feel you 100%. Yeah. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I wouldn't even cross that line. Like, because it's real. Like, it's a real thing. Like,
now that you experienced it, I mean, you can talk about your personal experience.
Yeah, like I never thought like COVID didn't exist. Like, I knew it existed. I was just like, hey, I'm healthy. I'm young. I'm okay if I get it. And I do want to say, for anybody who's out there saying like, hey, it's like the flu, it's not like the flu. It's a total different feeling. When I got the flu, I get like, I don't know, I get shivers, but I get this cold feeling on my whole body. Like I have this cold aura on me. With COVID, it wasn't no aura. It was like heat. It was like burning sensation. It was like crazy. Pain. So that's one thing. If people are trying to say, oh, it's the flu, it's not the flu. It's its own thing for sure.
Yeah. So
I just want to get that out there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm gonna switch gears here.
All right.
And so I wanted to talk about this podcast. I'm not gonna say their name, but we used to shout them out. But now that I started to dig deep, you know what I'm saying? I stopped following them. I stopped watching them because they would say one thing, and then they would do another, and it's just I didn't like the fact that they were saying in the manosphere, the red pill, whatever.
So we're talking about dating advice, guys.
Yeah. So they're talking about, oh, you shouldn't be. They call this. I don't like the terminology because it just fucking feels weird.
But which one?
All of them. I mean, really, to be honest, all of them. I don't like simp. I don't like alpha. I don't like y'all can't.
Where my simps at, bro? Yeah, where my simps at? Hey, I was there too, guys.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying. Simp pimp.
I feel you.
No. So I mean, I'm still like, I understand what the red pill means, and I understand the intellectual reason why what it means, but I didn't like. So what this? I'm kind of all over the place here, but let me get focused. So so what this podcast was saying, it was saying, oh, you shouldn't be paying for like OnlyFans. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. But then at the fucking same time, they were charging their own fucking people that were supporting the podcast for that same content. And to me, that is the definition of a hypocrite. That is the definition of somebody who is willing to say, let's just for example say, you should never eat avocado, and then at the back end they're fucking selling avocado.
Yeah, I have avocado toast.
You know what I'm saying? so it's the same.
I didn't have that, guys.
Where's that business though? Put that business on the card.
Oh, hey, check my Instagram.
You better see a meme about it though. We better see a meme about it. But I digress. Main thing is, we used to talk about this podcast. We used to say it was cool, but now that more spotlight has been coming up out of them, and more things have been coming out of them, and the truth has really came out, it's just, man, it's pretty disappointing to really like. You used to think about this podcast as like they were cool and this and that, and just to be doing that kind of shit is just kind of, I don't know, man, just degrading your audience. Making people feel like trash, making fun of people while they're there. Like, if people come to your podcast, I mean, we run a podcast, right? We treat people with respect. We treat people with, you know, integrity and everything. We try to run a very cool, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want to be too deep, like, you know. We're not Jordan Peterson in the sense of we go down deep deep down into very philosophical perspectives, but we do have some humility in us and say we do try to treat our guests with respect.
Yeah.
Now imagine you bring on a guest and then at the same time you make fun of your guest while your audience is making fun of them on top of them.
Yeah.
That's not cool, man. Come on, man. Like what are you doing there? Are you trying to be like Jerry Springer? Because I hear a lot of people are trying to, they try to collab, or they try to, how would I say this? Make comparison that they're trying to be like Jerry Springer.
Oh, like they're their own Jerry Springer.
Yeah, because I mean, you're making fun of the guests. You're purposefully poking at them.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. And I just feel like if you're gonna have a guest on, you should just treat them with the utmost respect. That at the same time, it's their time, their energy, their money coming over. At least treat them with some dignity. That's just all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, even for us, like, when we have guests on, like in a sense, we also have an admiration for that person that comes on our podcast. Like, for me, like, so far, we thank our guests that came on.
The restroom.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, we've had an admiration for every guest that we had on. Like, every single one was doing something very positive to our community, and they also were into really cool stuff. And to me, I just feel like that's something that we try to, like, I don't know, not that we try to do, it's just who we are. It's just what we just try to have a good time when we're on the podcast for everybody else. And on that specific podcast, it was just more like bashing each other and, or not bashing each other, but they would bash their guests, except the main guest that they would bring on, right? But they would basically bash all the other ones. And mostly the other guests were like women. And so they would like get on them really bad. And I don't know, I just feel like that's not a way to talk. It's not a way to talk to women. I think if you have a lady come over, you have a woman come over, or have a group of women in your podcast, it's only right that you guys actually sit down and have a conversation and hear each other's thoughts on whatever topic that it is. And it shouldn't be my thoughts are better than yours, or you better follow my lead than other. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can say on that. But just the only I can say is, hey man, if you're out, like if you're a single guy and you're out there trying to find content creators on YouTube, because that's where I've already had a lot, but I never understood like women nature, male nature, human nature, right? I learned most of that. I seen it happen, but I never understood it till I really dug deep into it. Mm-hmm. So just be careful on who you're following and what they're talking about, and don't feel like if you want to see other content creators, like, don't feel guilty about it, like, oh, I'm not being loyal. It's like, you still can, but every single person has their own ideas and their own thoughts, and you're able to learn from everybody. So just do it. And if you notice somebody's not right, or they're basically making up fake things to make more money, then, I mean, it's up to you. If you don't care, then you don't care. But if you value certain things, then, that's on you. And that's all I got to say on that podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, integrity is an important trait, right? If somebody says, let me think of an example here. Let me say, here we go. So let's say somebody values honesty, right? Mm. And they try to see people who are honest, who are, try to be who they are. And then you try to seek out people who are not. I mean, what does that tell you as a person? You are, how would I say this? It's important to stick to your values, and I'm good. It's important to stick to your values, and as a man, I think that's one of the most important traits. And it shouldn't matter even if it's a hot woman, if it's a cool dude, if it's some dude who has lots of money. It doesn't matter. You should always be able to defend your values if you say that that's an important. So, for example, I already used, honesty, for example. But if you continue to defend why someone is dishonest, there's a reason for that. And I think there's some digging you have to personally do. Whether that means you might need to seek a psychiatrist, or you might need to ask those deep questions you've been avoiding, for years. There's a reason why you're avoiding honesty, or you're seeking people who are dishonest, even though you say you value honest. So my point is, just stick to your values, do your research. Always seek information that's contrary to your belief, and just keep, I would say, an open mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well said, brother.
No, thank you.
I totally agree. Yeah, if I ever dive into anything now, I'm always looking at both sides because I always like there's always an agreement with both, and then you can make your own decision there. Like that's what I like to do a lot. And
that's a smart move.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, like with that specific thing, real quick, just with that specific podcast, like, I mean, 2 episodes in, I already knew how this was going, right? Not like that, but I'm not trying to say like, oh, I knew it, but it just you kind of just get that feeling like something's off here, like something.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty entertaining. It's fun. It's exciting. It's interesting. It's you know what I'm saying. And I was watching it when I was at a point in my my life where I was like learning about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was using it as entertainment value, but at the same time, I wasn't understanding that if you continue to listen to that, I mean, deep down I knew, but I wasn't really understanding that if I continue, even though I'm seeing it as entertainment, if I continue to repeat those same vocabulary, I'm gonna become indoctrinated. I'm gonna become I'm gonna become a follower. I'm gonna follow their belief system in the sense. It's almost like an occult.
Yeah.
It becomes a cult. A mentality, and then eventually you just start defending everything that they say because you think they're the fucking greatest or whatever. Oh my bad, fuck business. But you think they're the greatest, and you just become this blind, how would I say, just this blind follower.
Yeah. And that's even scary. Like if you don't even know, and you're following it, like, dang.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of good series on Netflix about occults. There's this one series I think on Fox and VOX, and it's like how to become a cult or how to create a cult or something, and it goes through the steps, and it interviews psychology and interviews people who actually study cults and see what are the steps it takes and what are the vulnerabilities of the people seeking cultish behavior. Like what happens, like what's going on, like why do people see cults, why do they join, what happens, why is it because vulnerable people see cults, this and that, and there's always like there's always characteristics like a charismatic leader, the person's vulnerable and stuff like that. They become they brainwash them to a certain thing. There's like characteristics, and I recommend people do their research. There's that documentary really good on Netflix, and then there's also information. There's this book called The Confidence Game. Really good book. I highly recommend people read it. The person that wrote it, I forgot her name. Her name is Maria something, Kokalova or something. She is a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and so she understands the human brain better than any of us, and she'll tell you why you start thinking certain beliefs and why it's so easy to get pretty much conned. And a lot of occults are that. They're cons disguised as religions.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
Yeah. But dang, I wanted to talk about another subject here. And I just kind of want to hear your thoughts about, like, there is this Jordan Peterson quote, and I want to pull it up. And I think it was one of the quotes that made me change how I view friendship. It made me change what I consider friends. And this is by Jordan Peterson. This is on his Instagram. He says, quote, "It's a good thing, not a selfish thing, to choose people who are good for you." So again, I'm going to repeat it. It's a good thing, not a selfish thing, to choose people who are good for you, end quote. And I really thought about this. We're cool. We're cool. Yeah. We also have our own lives and we have our own friendships.
Yeah.
And I really had to think about this one friend I was dealing with, and I had to really think about, like, friendship in general, just the topic of friendship, and think about what they were bringing to the table, the type of person they were, the characteristic traits that they were displaying, and was it like, I know it sounds terrible, but it's like a cost benefit. Like, was the cost more than the benefit? And so I had to really think about this. It really changed my viewpoint in the sense that I had to get rid of this friend because I know for myself, if I continue to dive in sewer, I'm going to become that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to become that sewer. So I had to, it's terrible to say, but I had to get rid of that friendship because if not, I'm going to drown. You know what I'm saying? They're overwhelming negativity. They're overwhelming negativity in the sense of it would always try and find ways to bring me down. It would make fun of me. It would do. Oh yeah, go ahead. So when you're looking for a friendship, you really need to think about what kind of friendship do you want. And it's so easy to get distracted on social media and everybody living their best life or whatever. But when you want to think about friendship, you want to think about traits that you have in common. So do they value integrity? Do they value, are they passionate about, uplifting themselves? If not, why? Are they just in a hard place? Do they just need to be lifted up? Are they on drugs? Do you value that? Things like that, I would say you need to really reflect on. This friend, like I said, I had, it was tough. It was tough because this is a friend I had for a long time, since elementary school. And it was hard to give him up because he's been there, tough, thick and thin. But lately, things like making plans, he would cancel last minute, make excuses. He would always find ways to attack my character, attack my personality. And I had to really just think deep down, do I really want to continue to be around somebody like that? What are they bringing to the table? And if we don't have those honest conversations, it's very easy to just live life, YOLO, woo, you know what I'm saying? Go on Instagram, live your best life, just continue as nothing has ever happened. But in reality, if we don't really have these conversations, it's very, it can end up being detrimental to your health, to your well-being, to the people that you surround yourself, to the thoughts, even to the thoughts, because if you're just always around people that are just going to continue to bring you down, beat the shit out of you, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually, whatever, it does affect you, and it will have a negative impact on you and the people around you. So I had to get rid of that friendship and say, you know what, I'm sorry, like in a sense, I'm sorry. We can't be friends because of what they just said. You're not bringing yourself to the table. You're not bettering yourself. You're not becoming the best version of yourself. You're not trying to improve yourself. You're not trying to be. I sound like those LA gurus. Just be yourself. Blah, blah. I really don't mean that. I'm just saying, like, I want to be around somebody who's gonna bring that fucking light. You know what I'm saying? I have darkness too. I have my dark moments. I'll admit it, and I express those through my writing, and I express those through my other ways of creativity. But I'm always.
That's healthy,
a solution.
That's healthy, though.
You know what I'm saying?
That's healthy, yeah.
I'm always looking for solutions. I'm always looking for ways to get out of predicaments, even though sometimes I put myself in it. I find ways to look for solutions. I'm looking for being grateful, being, that kind of stuff. Those are very important traits to me. And so if I'm around people that are just being those fucking anchors and are just trying to drown me, I have to cut those fucking chains out because I don't want to drown. I don't want to drown with you. If you want to be the anchor, that's cool. If you want to stay, deep in the deep waters of the ocean because you feel like you can't get out, that's cool. But I'm not going to be there with you. I'm going to swim my way up. I'm going to find the light and I'm going to find land. Because I'm trying to survive and I'm trying to live a great life and I'm trying to live with integrity. I'm trying to bring people up. That's the type of journey I bring to the table.
Yeah, hell yeah. I totally agree. I've had friends, well, were my friends, right?
Yeah.
And people I've met who I thought were friends, or they had or I thought that they were positive in my life. But I noticed that the more I hung out with them, the more my self-esteem went down, the more I was acting more angry towards things. I was basically becoming who I wasn't, because when I was at home, I was fine. I was myself. I was enjoying myself. Me and you hang out. We enjoy each other.
Yeah.
I think one major key that if a friend is a good friend is when you leave, you feel better than you did before you hung out.
Definitely, that's great. That's great
when I hang out with you, the moment you leave or I leave, when we have to go, I always feel better than I did before we met up.
Thank you, man.
And that's how I knew. That's when I realized, because I would hang out with friends and I would come back angry. I would come back mad. I would come down like I wasn't worth what I was, and I was like, what the hell? I'm like, this is something but I never thought about it. I was like, nah, it just is what it is. But then I started realizing, okay, I'm hanging out with you. I'm feeling better, but I hang out with this friend and I feel worse. And I just felt like if they're your so-called friend, but they're always bullying you, they're talking smack about you, or you feel like it's always one-sided, I mean, my recommendation would just be, I know it's kind of scary, and I know you might feel like you're the bad person on it, but just move on, because even though you might think you're the bad person, that's basically what they were doing. They were trying to basically manipulate it in a sense and say, hey, you know what, like, if you leave me, it's because it's you. Not me. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm a good friend. But you, because you're the bad friend. And it's like, you know what, screw you. I am the bad friend and I'm out. Yeah, because at the end, I feel better than I did when I was with you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth it. It really isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sacrificing, you're doing stuff, you're going above and beyond. If you're a good friend, you know what I'm saying? You go out and try to help this person, but if the person ain't putting in the work, the person ain't putting in the work. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
If they're not going out there and saying, like, for example, a friend of yours comes to you and they're depressed and stuff like that, and you help them out, you give them advice, you help them out, you know, you listen to them, you want to be, you know, the best friend, you know, you go out and you go out of your way and help them, and yet they're not putting in the work. Well, guess what? You just did all that for pretty much nothing. Because at the end of the day, you can do all that work, you can help them out, you can go out there and pick them up from the streets or whatever. It can be whatever situation. And if they put it in the work, they're going to be in the same situation. They're going to come back to you for the same problems. It's going to be 10 years later. You know, it's going to be the same shit, different pile. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is, do you really want to be dealing with that? Do you really want to have a friend that's going to be dealing with that 10 years from now? Do you really want to be dealing with somebody who's like that? Yeah, at the end of the day, there's the old saying, and I think it's from How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. But I've also heard it in Think and Grow Rich and other. This is like way back when I used to read those books.
Nice.
But it's always like positivity.
That's good.
It's good to be positive, but it's also good to be like,
you can also
recognize the darkness, I would say.
I embrace my darkness.
Yeah, it's very important to embrace your darkness.
I embrace it for sure.
Yeah, you have to. I would say you have to, because if you don't, then the darkness will consume you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway,
we can get to that next.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
I'm excited for that topic. Shit, you already know. I am the epitome of darkness and light. It's very important that you ask yourself those questions, and it's hard. I know it's hard because I've had to do it, and you know, we used to have a good friend with us, you know, from middle school, and we used to hang out with him and stuff like that, but one thing led to another, and we had to let him go because, unfortunately, his ideas and our ideas weren't matching anymore. And when that happens, it's very unfortunate. You know, it's like almost it's losing somebody.
Yeah, it hurts.
You lose it, and you lose all the bonds and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you have to think about yourself. You have to think about your health, because if you can't be the best version of yourself to help others, then how are you gonna help others? If your goal is to help others, how are you gonna help others? If you don't give a fuck about others, then you're just not.
Then just ignore us.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You know, we're not for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you want to commit, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't say that you can, but you did it on your own.
Yeah. You don't.
So we, you know, us together, we actually had to get rid of a friend a long time ago because he was doing some shit that we're not gonna, you know, admit what he did, but he was doing some shit that was not cool, and we'll just leave it at that. And we had to let him go because of that, because our differences of ideas and our differences of opinion and our differences of virtues, pretty much. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite phrases. It is what it is. But it's the truth, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy, but it is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the things that are the most difficult are the things that are the most necessary to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know. You get a more of a peace of mind. I know it's more lonely. Yeah. So again, like, we'll get to that. Actually, it's the topic that came up. So,
all right, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
Hold on. Let's do the darkness one first, and then we'll go to that one.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say real quick, guys, like, as a good segue to get there, I just want to say that and like we don't think we're high moral, amazing, high priest. Like we don't think nothing like that. We just are who we are, and this is how we want to live our lives, and this is what we want to express. So for anybody out there who thinks like, oh, these guys think they're like, no, this is just who we are, and this is who we are, and this is who we are, and how we're gonna be. And but yeah, so I just want to get there because now that we're going to the darkness side, it's like, yeah, man, there's been moments where you just like want to do not bad, like I don't want to go out there and like kill anybody. I'm not saying nothing like that, but what I would say is like, I mean, I don't know, you just get these crazy thoughts of like, shit, what if like I bombed the Golden Gate when no one's on there? Like I think that sometimes, like I'm not bombing, but I'm just like I don't know, like that'd be crazy or something. Yeah, but no, go ahead.
No, yeah, it's good. I like where this is going.
But I just feel like, you know, but instead of like actually going and doing it, right? Because I'm not going to, like, I'll just use that energy to go and create something positive. Like, I don't know, I'll just go write something cool, make a cool post, or come up with ideas. And yeah, and then I even do it too, like on the freestyle story that I did. It's like I start off cool, like a guy who's like drunk. I know it's like a friend and a guy that went to a party to meet up this girl, but he gets drunk, so he leaves, and his friend basically leaves him there, and he goes to the party, and he ends up hooking up with that friend's girl. So
shit.
So like it, right? That's dark.
Like, that's like some BET shit right there.
So you see, and you're like, oh damn, right? Like what the heck? But then at the ending, right? It has a good ending, and it's like at the end, he just realizes, like, you know what? That's them. Like, I'm gonna just do my thing. I'm gonna just overcome all this. I'm gonna go and continue my dream. I won't let it pull me back. Move on. So it's like I bring elements of darkness into stories that I make. I think for me, that's how I use my dark side. So what about you?
I think it's super important to recognize the dark side, and I mean, dark side is cool. I mean,
I don't know if that's the right word.
I don't even know. I don't know what the right word is, but it's like it's a nature of like your mind drifting to like this very dark. I call it darkness just because I don't know what the right word is, but darkness in the sense of like, for example, like one of my posts, I literally have, this is one of my latest blog posts, but it's like I have the past self or the future self holding a shotgun to the past self, right? That's a very dark thing to imagine. Like, imagine if you were, I'm good at that. Imagine like if you were confronted with your future self and they have a shotgun to your face, like. So I use violence. I use that kind of negativity. What people would consider negativity, because it's a way for me to channel all my aggression, my anger, my I would say sadness or whatever. You know, it's a way to channel it in a productive mean. And in the end, most of my stories, I would say, have a positive ending. I do have some stories that end, I would say, not so positive, but like somebody's getting head chopped off. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's a way to channel that energy. And I would say, I hate using energy as a thing, but it is. But for example, there's this positivity movement, and it's really important to be optimistic, I would say. Yeah. But I would say there's a difference between an idealistic optimist and a
delusional optimist.
A delusional optimist. Yeah. And so an idealistic optimist is somebody is almost delusional, right? Mm-hmm. It's somebody who is always optimistic but never actually gets to express anger, sadness, all those other emotions that come with. Emotions are both, frustration, anger, sadness. Just think of happiness, content, those are all emotions, right? Mm-hmm. But if we don't express anger, that makes it worse. Yeah. If we don't express frustration, if we don't express, I'm just trying to think of another one that is always guilt, I would say is another one. Yeah. If we don't express those emotions, they tend to bottle up like a fucking, you ever had like a soda and you just shake the shit out of it and just open it up? That's kind of what happens. It just spurts out everywhere. So I would say if you can find a way to channel that, and so you have to first accept the emotion, feel it, and then let it go. It's kind of hard. How would I describe it? Imagine if somebody was throwing a softball or a baseball at you. So you catch it, you accept that you have the ball, and then you throw it back to the other person. You throw it away, and that's kind of similar. Like, so it's like feeling the emotion, accepting it for what it is, and then letting it go. Because if you hold on to it, then it's also negative. You know, it will destroy you. It will literally destroy you. It will find ways in your psyche to lead to self-destructive behavior. So you want to take it in for what it is, accept for what it is, and then let it go. So either not recognizing it and holding it for too long is both are equal extremes that I would not recommend. So accept it, hold on to it for a little bit, recognize it, and then let it go. Whether that's anger, guilt, sadness, frustration, anything like that, recognize it, accept it, and let it go. That's the best way to do it, because if you try to like, I know there's like this whole thing, or there was at one point this whole thing in LA, like, oh, just be positive. There's no way, like, if somebody hits you with a baseball bat, how are you gonna be positive? Oh yeah, somebody just hit me with a baseball bat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're gonna be fucking angry. Like, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? You know, I'm gonna go attack, or I might do something, you know, impulsive. But you have to allow to be angry and frustrated and all those emotions. Accept those emotions for what they are. Think, and really, it's kind of like cognitive. Like, you have to really think about what you're gonna do and why you're gonna do it, and then allow yourself to let it go. Because if you harbor too much of guilt or too much of anger, you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day. And we try to promote, you know, a healthy lifestyle, and that includes allowing to accept negativity for what it is, or accepting the darkness. If I could put it another way, like, imagine there's a pool, right? And you're just dipping your toes into the pool. You're not jumping into the pool, and you're not staying in the pool. You're just dipping your toes in, and you're putting your only up to your ankles. You know what I'm saying? You're allowing yourself to feel it. You're allowing yourself to, you know, everything.
Just get a taste of it.
Exactly. Just to get a taste. Just to get a taste.
Yeah.
And then you just put your feet out. You know, and that darkness, if you channel it correctly, it can be one of the most crazy inspirations for one of the most creative ideas you've ever had. If you can find a way to channel it in a creative manner, man, I'm telling you, it's a way. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like grabbing fucking energy and then just come out, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I think this thing where it's like, come out, fuck you. I was like, what? I was laughing. I don't know. It's a little different, but I just like, I've been wanting to say that.
Just go. But I mean, in a way, it is, because it's like you're. What I like about Dragon Ball Z is where, like, somebody spits energy, for example, and then you're able to accept it, and then you're releasing it back.
Yeah.
It's kind of the similar aspect. And I know I'm getting way too philosophical, but it's just, if you can find a way to channel it in a very productive way, I would say we all have a creative side. Some of us more than others, but find a way to channel it, and it will do you wonders, and you won't believe it.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, thank you, brother. Well said.
Nice. I appreciate it.
I feel like I got to like a meditative zone. I liked it. I was like, damn, that's fresh.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about it? I mean, I'd like to hear what do you think about darkness and
I think
that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I feel like it's a really cool thing to do, and I feel like sometimes, I know it's kind of maybe not the same thing, but I feel like there's a lot of things that you want to try out. That you want to try as like maybe try a little bit of it so you can dip your foot in so that you can get like what's it called? Damn, I'm losing it. Well, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if there's things that you want to try out, like you want to do, like, let's say you want to go skydiving, let's say you want to, I don't know, go like NASCAR or like drive a I don't know, whatever, right? You want to go talk to that girl, whatever, right? I think it's cool to experience it in order to kind of have like that. Damn, I can't even think right now. What the hell? But basically like have that experience so that you're able to live it, and then you're able to use it in a creative way. Like, I feel like with darkness, like, I don't know, like you said, like, it's kind of hard to say how to, like, it's hard to find a word for that type of like energy, but I guess darkness will be the word for now. But I just feel like it's cool to step into that world because not like you said, not jump into the pool, not to like engulf yourself in it and like live in it because it's a very dark place if you really get to that point. Like then you really
hard to get out too.
Yeah, and then you start colds or okay, we're not gonna go that serious. You can say like you can either get suicidal, you can have mad depression, you can have a lot of anger, sadness. Because I've been in there, like I have gone from like thinking I was cool to realizing everything I was doing was wrong, and I went to like a very dark place. Like
it's very easy to get into.
Yeah, like I went through like a very I went through a deep depression because of that. Because I went to the dark place and I thought that was the right way. Like I went from one spectrum to the other, right? But if I didn't go through it, I'm not saying people to go through it, but in my experience, like if I didn't step into it, like I would have never known what it felt like. And nowadays, I'm able to create certain stories where I can, what's the word? Not compare, but like not share, but
inspire.
Like have something in common with people. There's a different word, but basically that. Just to have that in common, like when you go into a dark place and people have experienced those, they did something similar. You have that, like you can both share the same experiences.
Share knowledge, or experience.
You can understand each other. You're able to make stories where people who have lived it can understand it. And I think it's like, and I think that's the best way, just to pull it in, make something creative out of it. Because I've done a lot of things that are like could be deemed in the darkness, but I've only gained experience from it, and it's something like, oh, cool, good thing I've tried it. So I mean, I'm not saying everybody goes through it, right? But
I'm not saying you're going out there and killing cats or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
But I would say like people might think jumping out of a plane is the darkness, right? Like, damn, the dude's crazy. Like, what is he thinking? But I have that experience now. When people talk about like, oh, I went skydiving, I'm like, yo, that thing is cool, huh? Like, I can actually talk about a shared experience.
I would say like, I think we all have dark thoughts, and it's very human to have.
And it's okay.
It's very human, and it's okay as long as you don't act upon it, right? So if you go out there and you're always thinking about killing somebody, and then you actually act upon it, there's something like
then that's
maybe there might be a chemical imbalance, or there might be some psychological issues with that person. You could say, but I think we all have those dark thoughts. But if you don't allow them to overtake you, you just accept them for what they are, and then you let it go. That's better than trying to always deny. Never darkness, always positive, always be positive, always. No, that shit is not going to work, because now you're getting to the part of being delusional, and now you're saying you're only positive, but at the end of the day, we are human. In our amygdala, the part that makes us human, that shows emotions, we have all kinds of emotions, okay? And if you don't express them, you're going to make it worse. There was a study, it's very interesting. I forgot who did the study or what institution did it, but they said cussing after pain actually allows you to you to endure pain longer, and it allows you to endure pain longer and release pain in a way. It's they call it a analgesic. I don't remember how to pronounce it, but it pretty much. What I was reading, it was when you have two groups, right? Say one group, they have to put their hands underneath an ice cold bath, and the people that cussed were able to withhold the pain longer than the people who did not cuss.
Wow,
they withhold the pain longer, and they were able to not distract the mind, but there's another word for it. They're able to focus on something else.
Instead of the pain? Instead
of the pain, but we have to cuss.
Yeah.
But if you don't cuss, your pain threshold actually goes down, and you're more likely to withdraw your hand.
You'll feel it even more, because you're
exactly.
more focused on that.
Exactly, yeah. So
I can see that, yeah.
So cussing is technically considered a negative thing, right? It's negative. Oh my God, look at that person, they cussed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But cussing actually has the opposite effect. You know what I'm saying? And I can send you the study, because I recently looked it up. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, and for me, if you ever read my content, if you ever read my blog, which I highly recommend,
please check it out. We'll have the link in the bio.
shortstory.com. But anyway,
what is it? What is it called?
Oh, the shortstoryguy.com.
No. Like, what is it when you drop the? Can't think of
the it's a plug.
Yeah,
it's definitely a plug. It's definitely. I'm plugging in. Plug it in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not like calling out. I'm just saying like, what was the word?
Oh yeah, it's definitely the plug. I'm definitely plugging in. But most of my content, if you ever read my content, it has a very dark sense, but at the end of the day, there's always a value.
Yeah.
At the end of the story, there's always something where the character either learns about themselves, or they have some kind of realization, or they, how would I say, they grow mentally, or they learn something different. So I do that on purpose. I don't do that on accident. I do that on purpose. I purposefully allow myself to go into the void. I would, as Nietzsche would call it, the philosopher Nietzsche. Go into the void and dwell in it for a little bit and then come out of it. Because they say, what was the saying? How's the saying go? If you don't stare too long to the void, or the void will stare too long back.
Oh, wow.
So I go in just for a little bit, dwell in it, whatever, and then come out of it. And both are important. Going into it and coming out of it are both equally important. But I love writing. I love stories. I love stories, movies, video games, anything. Reading a good book that has a good story. I love stories. I love stories. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I just love them. I love a good story. I love a good story that takes me for a ride. You know what I'm saying? It's like going on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
For me, at least. So I try to write stories that will take you for a ride as well. Stories that you don't know where you're gonna go. Stories that are kind of impulsive. Stories that have twists and turns. But at the end of the day, it has some kind of
it has a clear message. I like how you write it. It'll be a story, whatever the story is, but at the very end, you'll get the clear message.
Yeah,
right at it.
I try to be very clear at the end, but I also try to allow some nuance.
I feel like it's like perspective. Like you'll be able, for anybody reading it, to have their own perspective until they get to that point.
Exactly. That's what I try to do. I try to make it so where
that's dope.
Yeah, I try to make it so where the person interprets it in a positive way, but they interpret it in a way where they can interpret it into their own life. I like, how would I say this? I don't like holding hands for the reader, because they are their own person. They have their own mind. But I will guide them to I would show them where to go, but it's up to them if they want to go that way.
Yeah.
And they have their own interpretation, of course. It's not my job to show what your interpretation of a piece of art. Because a story, in a way, is a good piece of art. If you've ever seen a good movie, played a good video game, read a good book, all those stories kind of shape how you think and what you think about. But it's not telling you how to think, it's shaping how you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's up to you. Dope. It's up to you to interpret it however you see fit. But I always try to leave in a way where the person feels better off than they started.
Yeah.
I always try to put it like in a negative. I'll make it seem like the person goes through something, just so that to make it feel like I can connect with the reader.
Yeah. Because it's not always rainbow and sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my point.
We all gotta go through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, bro, that's dope. That's so dope.
Yeah,
you guys really gotta check it out. No, but for real, other than that, like it is really dope. Like, thank you, brother.
No, I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you guys for just being supportive and everything.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Always, man, always.
What else did you want? I know you wanted to talk about something else.
Oh yeah, so I was thinking like, I kind of got it from the roommates. Like,
oh yeah, they're a good podcast though.
Yeah,
not gonna lie, especially Hafiz. His Hafiz Unfiltered, those are pretty good.
Oh, I haven't really been watching those.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
He goes ham. He goes ham.
My boy Hafiz, man, he's freaking dope. Him and Chris, I think they're like right now. Let's see. Yeah,
right now. Like in your top 5.
Yeah, I haven't like really kept up with them. I'm normally keep up with like their like 10-minute clips or the 12-minute clips.
That makes sense.
I haven't seen a full episode. I haven't heard a whole podcast in a minute. But the last one they did, because they have like this filtered like episode, but they have it on their Patreon. But anyways, basically Hafiz asked Chris, and when he was asking him, I kind of thought about it too. Like, I know we talk about it off the podcast, but it'd be nice to like let the audience know, like,
what's up?
Like,
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so for him, right, he goes like, I just want to make it clear, like at the roommates, he goes like, I'm not red pill. Like he says, like for himself, he doesn't speak for Chris. He speaks for himself. He's like, I'm not red pill. Like I'm not. I don't teach red pill content. He's like, I don't think I'm in the manosphere. So, my question is, since we do give like dating advice, and we also like help, everybody try to be like the best version of themselves. Where do you think we are categorized in? Like, do you think we're kind of in the manosphere? Like, are we more catered to there, or like? What do you think? Like, where do you think we're at right now?
I really like. So, I wouldn't say. I would say. So in the Matrix, the red pill. The reason why
it's called the red pill.
It's called the red pill is because it's gonna take you out of the Matrix. The point of the red pill is to make you see the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I forgot which character actually seeks the truth, but then becomes very negative and very like destructive. Where there's a person in the film that becomes very negative and destructive even after they take it.
Mm-hmm.
The other person, Neo, actually tries to save the world and stuff like that, right? I wouldn't say we would. The red pill is to seek truth. Yeah, we do seek the truth, but some people have used that as a way to. They would try to use that as a way to demean or use very derogatory language towards women, and I don't think we stand for that. So I wouldn't say we're red pill. I would say, if anything, we're white pill, which is using the truth or seeking out the truth. The fact that we always try to seek out the truth and try to seek out what's true and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also try to give people an optimistic view. Like, yes, you do have hope. Yes, you can. There's certain things you can do. Yes, and Coach. His name is Coach Whitepill.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his name is Coach Whitepill. But that's the why he uses white. He uses the term white pill because it's a very optimistic view. It's saying that you can. There's certain things you can do in your life where you can change. There is a certain characteristics you can do. There's certain things you can read. There's actions you can take in order to become a best version of yourself, which I like, which I enjoy, which I think is very possible. A lot of guys, one way or another, they'd be dealing with hardships, but there's certain things they can do in their own day-to-day lives to become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So they seek the truth, but they still want to be the best version of themselves. And the reason, from my understanding, why they use white pill instead of red pill,
black pill, whatever,
is because red pill, like the coach has said in previous podcasts, and this other guy named Kevin Ray Wilder, red pill has been taken hostage by these other people that don't use it for what it means. So they use a different term, white pill. White pill means optimistic. White pill means you have hope. White pill means that you want to strive to become the best version of yourself in every aspect, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. And you're working towards it. And why white? Well, because there is such thing, as crazy as it sounds, there is such thing as black pill. And black pill is a community of people that have gone through some hardship, mostly men, that have gone through some bad relationship and become very nihilistic and become very self-destructive.
Oh wow.
So that's why I would say we're more even white pill than red pill or black pill. And why? And we use pill because it's the term that everybody's using. So instead of making like white fucking syrup or something, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Instead of making a new term,
pancakes, no syrup.
You know what I'm saying?
If anybody knows me from back in the day, y'all know what I'm talking about. It makes complete no sense.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of making up our own term, we can use a term that's already been used, that's already recognized in a community of people. And our content is made for everybody, not just men. Even though we're just guys and we're talking and shit, you know what I'm saying? It can be used as females can listen to it, men can use it. We try to seek the truth in the sense of we seek our own truth and we express our truth and we try to give value and we try to look at things for what they are and not look at things for rose-colored glasses. And we just try to bring in a perspective that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? We try to mix it up a little bit. we do offer some entertainment, but we also try to offer a lot of information that will help a person become, you know, the best version of themselves. I'm not gonna say we know a shit ton of whatever. We're just some two dudes. But hey, us amigos can go out there, you know, and we're just some regular guys. And I think for a lot of us guys out there, and women, I would say, that are regular, like, there's nobody speaking to that. There is nobody who's going out there and, you know, especially in the Bay Area where there's a lot of fucking flaunting and there's a lot of flossing of like, oh, look at me, look at my tech job, look at my job, look at my car, look at my this, look at my that. Like, the fuck are you doing? Like, if all you have to offer is your trophies, then you have nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying? So we try to bring a different perspective. We try to have some fun. We're a mix of entertainment and information, and I think, you know, we're trying to represent the Bay Area for the best of what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's why we try to bring on different guests. That's why we have a good time. You know, we have some fun.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about, you know, life is kind of short. You know what I'm saying? So we try to bring entertainment, but we also try to bring information, so that way you, as a consumer, as a viewer, which we really appreciate, by the way.
Yeah.
That way you can make a good decision on your behalf.
Hell yeah. I feel like, bro, that's well said. That's cool.
Nah.
Like for me, I wouldn't like categorize us like even red pill. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. What I'm about to say is kind of what Hafiz said, but it was like when he said it, I was like, bro, that's exactly like not exactly, but I was like, I don't know. That's why I really like Hafiz, bro. He's freaking cool, man.
Yeah,
like, he's freaking cool.
He's very direct too.
Just like his ideologies are freaking dope. My boy Chris though is like I feel like I'm more relate to Chris, but I like.
Yeah, I think you are. I would say you're more of a Chris personality. I'm more Hafiz personality.
So yeah, if you guys if you guys are looking for like men's, you know, like if you want to develop as a, this is more catered like for men. Like if you want to look for ways to improve as a man, be the best version of yourself, you know, go check out the Roommates. They're freaking amazing.
Yeah, they're really great content. They always put out content every week, so we suggest too to check them out.
Yeah. So like what he was saying was like he's like the thing about the red pill was like the red pill. Every single person who is red pill, they all have their own specific definition of what it is. It's not one thing.
That's a good point.
And they all have their own. So it's like, so what is red pill at the end of the day? Like, basically, what red pill is like you find out the real nature of women, right? You understand female nature, like why they do certain things, why they act a certain way, and a lot of people, technically, when they take the red pill, you know, they get angry and they figure it all out.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not like that because we're not like we tell you guys what we experience. Like for me, I only talk about what I experienced. Like when I was like, if I holla at chicks, when I was simping, things I've done wrong, things I've done right. I mean, I haven't gotten so explicit. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I want to keep that more towards the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Where I can really have
I think that's a good point.
Where I can really express myself, because you know what I'm saying, if I get really descriptive, you know what I'm saying, we can get canceled on YouTube or whatever.
Cancel culture.
So so that's the reason. That's the only reason why. But
we should have a Patreon.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
No, it's gonna happen. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
There's a couple stories that I'm like, if I have this with the Patreon, we're all good. But
that's smart.
But I just feel like, like that's all we talk about is our experiences. Like the reasons why we talk about, like for me, I just feel like the reasons why we talk about, like the reasons why we explain and, you know, have that open conversation about helping out men, helping out women, is things that, you know, that we've seen, that we've experienced, that we lived, and we're just expressing it to you guys. Like I tell you guys my L's, I tell you guys things that I went through, that I've experienced, that I lived, that you guys, you know, hopefully if there's a younger audience listening, that, you know, they learn from my mistakes, or
it's true,
or that they listen to my mistakes and they avoid it. And I feel like all we're doing is just trying to help everybody out. Like we have a good time, you know, we have a drink here and there, we do, but we will try to bring entertainment, like you said. We try to bring entertainment, we try to bring information for you guys, try to help you guys out. I feel like we're not a dating channel.
Hell no.
Like we're not a dating channel, we're not informational channel, we're just us. But this is what we choose to talk about, and this is just like who we are.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good way of explaining it. I like that. I mean,
thank you, brother.
we're not. you in order to talk like very knowledgeable about a certain topic, you have to be like, I would say, an expertise. Like for example, there are certain, I would say, people that are in the dating community that have experience. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so there's some people that I would recommend, like if you want to find ways to like talk about female nature and stuff like that, I recommend Playing with Fire. He's a really good. He does things really well. He explains things to a T, and he explains how to text. He explains different things. He's a very good source, and he'll be very honest with you and direct. You need to try to look at things as objectively as possible. It's impossible to be 100% objective just because we are human and we have our own biases, our own ways of thinking that create shortcuts because our brain wants to be lazy and doesn't want to expend energy, pretty much. But yeah, Playing with Fire, I suggest. Just one shout out. And there's other people that are like that you can tell they have intentions where they want to help out men or women, date. But yeah, just do your research. Us, we like to have some fun, but we also like to mix it up. Yeah. We're not all fun, but we're not all informative. We do a little bit of both, and we do that on purpose because we value you as a guest, and we want to make sure you guys leave like, oh my god, I felt like I've actually learned something, either about myself, either about a friend of mine, either about
a family member that can help.
Yeah. So we try to have some fun. We try to be informative, a little bit of both, just because we value you.
Yeah. Like the reason I brought it up is like because I was thinking about it. I was like,
I'm gonna get another one.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother.
No, good.
Oh my bad. Yeah, the reason why I brought it up was because like I know we've had our discussion, just us, but I felt like I don't think we've ever said it on the podcast. Like, have we ever explained? Like, maybe we have. Maybe I'm just not like maybe I lost it somewhere. Right? It's been a while. You know what I'm saying? I don't make an excuse. I'm just saying like maybe I just don't remember. But I was like just to have a clear one because once I heard them when they were like when Hafiz was like, look, this is the last time I'm seeing it, like because I guess like Chris, he thinks they're in the manosphere, but Hafiz doesn't. Like he's like we're not. But Chris says he's not red pill. He's like, we're not red pill, but I think we are because he does give like dating advice. I don't think I've seen Hafiz like maybe one or two, but I think more Hafiz like when he does his individual ones, they're always to help you improve as a man. Like and so does Chris, but I feel like his is a little more catered to like dating wise, and Hafiz is more like just actual tools and techniques.
They both bring I would say two different things.
Yeah,
Hafiz is more.
That's actually pretty cool.
If I would say like the expression of clouds and dirt, I would say Hafiz is more clouds and Chris is more dirt. And what I mean by that is Hafiz is very philosophical. He will go into a deep dive into some philosophical points, very important points that you should really think about, points that you should really consider because it could change the way you view in life. And then Chris is way more, I would say, dirt in the sense of he gives you very actionable things you can do in the very moment, and he can give you things to avoid and things to do. So one of them is very philosophical, one of them is very like you really need to deep dive because it could change you as a person, and the other one is actions in order to become a better to become another person.
And also to enjoy your life. I feel like he brings that energy.
Yeah. He's definitely more, I would say, relaxed. Yeah, and Hafiz is more, I don't know, not unrelaxed. I would say he's more.
No, he's that man, not unrelaxed. I think he's relaxed as well, but
intense, I guess would be a good word. I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't know how to. I don't really know.
He's very like.
I just think
direct. I would say direct. Direct is a good word.
Oh, direct. Yeah.
Not intense. Direct.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell you what it is and how it is, and if you like it or not,
it's the truth.
It is the
truth.
That. Versus Chris, he'll tell you in a way where he'll consider other factors.
Yeah. They're cool. They're cool. Like I like each other. Like they're like a
good duo.
They balance each other out.
Yeah,
definitely. Heck yeah. So, I mean, we might as well bring some dating advice while we're here.
I mean, go ahead, brother. I wanted to go somewhere else, but go ahead. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna go somewhere else, but yeah.
All right. Well, what were you gonna do?
I was gonna talk about kind of like AI and robots. But that's
okay, we'll do it afterwards.
You want to?
Yeah, I want to talk about that too.
Okay,
I want to talk about it too. Or actually,
yeah, go ahead. Go do your dating, and then that way, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's cool, and then we'll end on that. I guess we can end on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess like.
How to transition?
No.
Like,
what do you think? What is what is something you know now that you didn't know before the break? And not respects and whatever, right? With dating, like, what is something you learned or something that you thought about or something that you never was something that was new to you about dating?
Let me think about this one.
Yeah.
Because I learned along the way, and I'm still trying to figure out my timeline. It's more for me. It's more my thing.
Yeah,
I don't know where my timeline is.
No, just talk about your personal journey.
Sure. So yeah. I'll start from.
Unless you want me to go, I can go if you want me to go. Because I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, it's good. So I don't know exactly where or when, but it was kind of like the importance of female nature, like understanding female nature. Before, I used to buy into the, I would say, cultural phenomena. I don't like saying blue pill because it's just stupid.
I don't like the pills either.
It's stupid. I would say there's a cultural phenomenon as a man, and there's a way of saying like, oh well, in order to win a woman over, you have to buy her this, you have to do this, you have to be super respectful. But to be honest with you, those are the things that are going to cause her to get bored, and women tend to get bored very easily.
Yeah.
So those are things that, yeah, it might work in the beginning when it's exciting, but after you're doing 2 or 3 months of that, and if you're looking for long term, it's not going to be exciting. There's that. There's the fact that a lot of men don't know how to flirt out of the way. Like one of my favorite people say, they don't know how to flirt out of the way of a paper bag. That shout out to Marnie. Marnie, the person in the wind girl. A lot of guys don't really know how to flirt because, to be honest, guys don't have those social skills. Guys are taught to be in the United States. I don't know other parts of the world. But in the United States, guys are taught to be independent, and if you don't know how to do shit on your own, then you're a fucking wuss, you're a shit man. You're a this, you're a that. You're not a real man.
You're a beta man.
Yeah,
or you're a sin.
Exactly. But the reality of the situation.
I don't even like those, but I like still using those words.
Okay, go ahead.
But just not the pill.
All right. The reality of the situation is that men tend to have less social skills than women. In the United States, I can't speak for other parts of the world, but in the United States, women tend to pick up on social cues faster. Women tend to be more social. They tend to have more social groups, even from when they're kids to when they're adults, and even to when they're older.
Yeah.
Guys will not really have that. Like if you look at guys, a lot of men don't have a lot of other men to be part of their social group. It's either like one friend or like two, the most, I would say. And women tend to have a group of 4 and 5 because they just know how to. They just pick up on that. They're just wired differently. I would say men and women are two different creatures. As much as we want to say we're equal, we're not in the sense of equality. Yes, we should all have equal rights to access to everything. But as in physiologically, mentally, emotionally, men and women are completely different. Yeah. Men can have sex with a bunch of different women and not really have an emotional bond. But to a woman, sex is a way to bond. Is a way to. It's like a way for them to bond to something else. Yeah. Because there's a lot of touch. That you're getting close to somebody. You literally get to see them naked. Like it's a very vulnerable experience, very intimate experience, and for a woman, that's something that's very they value relationships, I would say. Yeah, they value that. I mean, unless they're young, right? Like yeah. Like unless they're young and going out to clubs and want to be freaky deaky. Hey, it's cool. Hey, it's cool. We're not judging on it. It is what it is. Hey, guys out there too out here, but like you said, biologically though, like we are able to do that. We can go out there and have sex. We can have our girl at the house, but we still want it. Like not every guy, but a lot of guys will want to still go out there and still bang other chicks and not have any feeling towards them. Yeah. They can still come home and only love their wife. Yeah, there's certain men that can do that. I mean, it's I would say it's looked down upon just because, first of all, I would applaud any guy who can keep more than 2 women, because keeping 1 woman already satisfied is hard enough. 2, oh my god, I can't even imagine, right? But a polygamous relationship. It's getting hot because I'm coming in hot. You know what I'm saying? It's called the Fuego and Sonrisa podcast for a reason.
Shout out to Patreon.
I come in hot, but yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, like, for example, you have to know how to flirt, and you know how to banter, and you know how to keep things interesting. Because if you don't, women are the ones that tend to break up with men, and women are the ones that tend to get in a relationship with a man.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to keep up that spark, what happens is us guys, we're like, oh my god, we won, we got this hot chick. Now we're in a relationship, and then you just kind of get lazy in a sense. They're just like, you know what? I'm not gonna date. I'm just gonna just be in my underwear, eating some fucking Cheetos, and playing some Call of Duty or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And scratch their nuts, sniff it, and then go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that easy. You know, at least what I see, and relationships actually work. If you want a relationship to work, you got to put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Work is work. And if you want something, whether that's a business, a relationship, whatever, if you want something to succeed, you got to put in time, effort, and energy into that, and resources. And for a woman, when a man puts time, effort, energy, and resources to her, it makes her feel valuable. It makes her feel like she's part of the team. And I'm not just saying, oh, become a sugar daddy and give 10,000 women all your money. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, as a man,
putting her first. Like, don't put her first. Yeah, like, don't put her first. Like, if you put her first, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I was just like, cause you were right there. I was like, I just want to jump in. Like,
all right, go ahead.
It was just like, yeah, like, you don't want to put her first, because if you put her first, then she's gonna kind of feel like, hey, like, dang, like, myself is the whole world for him, and into our mind, right, we think like, yeah, that's exactly what they want. Yes, but it's like, that's not what they want.
No.
They really want us to just like stay on our purpose, do our thing. I mean, there might be like outliers out there like, oh no, I don't mind it, but it's very like few when that happens.
There's a great book called by David Day, which is the Way of Superior Man. Great book. Nice. I really highly recommend it. And he talks about that. He talks about, I forgot which chapter and who he's talked about. I think it's chapter 26, where it's like, if you're a man, you're gonna want to be attracted to other females, but it takes a lot of discipline in order to be with one female, because it means that not only, because there's it's very easy to fall into the sex trap, just have sex with all kinds of women and just not really give a fuck.
Yeah.
And as a man, because we can have sex and not have an emotional bond. For a woman, if they have sex with the wrong person, they have to carry that baby for 9 months. There's a physiological consequence to having sex with the wrong person. That's why their bar is so high, which makes sense. You know, so as a man, you're always going to see like fine women, but the question is, do you act upon it? Now, if you act upon it, that just makes you look like a weak man, because now you seem like all you do is act on your impulses, and that's like some fucking animal shit. As a human, we have the ability to have self-discipline and respect. And if you really value your woman, I'm talking about if you're in a good relationship, a healthy relationship, you love your woman, you're not even gonna think about other women. You're just gonna focus on your woman. You're like, oh, those women are kind of cute or kind of hot, but my woman is hot.
Yeah, because I don't care what any guy says out there. They go like, oh, I'm only dedicated to my woman. I ain't looking at no other woman. Straight up, that's cap. Because as a man, it doesn't matter.
Stop the cap.
When you see a fine chick, like, you're definitely gonna check her out. Now, I'm not saying like, oh my god, like, you're not gonna get super aroused, but you will see and be like, all right, you know what, she's fine. All right, you know what, she's good looking. I mean, if you do, it's all good, but like, you might be like, damn, she got a fat ass. Like, it's gonna happen as a man, and it's okay. Don't feel like you're cheating or you're doing it because you're not. It's just, but the cheating is when you are like acting on it. Kind of going back to the darkness. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you had the dark thoughts, like, God damn, but you're just like, oh, that's cool. You appreciate her for who she is.
Exactly.
And you just move on.
Yep. It's about
in a very healthy relationship.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna go. Like.
Oh, so exactly.
That's you need to be able to and you can even say something to your girl, be like, wow, she's attractive, but she ain't got nothing on you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can just call it out for what it is, and then but still be very loyal and be very humble to the fact that you love this person so much that you're willing to call even your stupid impulses. Let's just call them. And
it's his nature though.
It's nature, but like it's calling it out versus her thinking about something else. You know what I'm saying? It's
okay.
I thought you meant like saying she's
fine. Oh, I thought it wrong. I thought you were saying like if you look at her and you get like, damn, she's fine. Like I thought you were saying that was stupid.
No.
My bad. That's my bad.
No. It's like it's beating your girl to the punchline.
Yeah.
Just saying what it's calling it out for what it is, but coming back to it and be like, no. But you're still the finest.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, cause even then, if you go like if she go like, let's say you don't say it, right, and she calls you out on it like oh, like damn, she's kind of pretty, right, and you're like, you know what I'm saying, she's cool, she's gonna be like, this chick is fine, like what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like now you're lying to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you make it worse, like she's pretty, bro.
And let's be very clear. We're talking about if you're with a woman who's very secure, very open-minded, very like. Who knows who she is. Now, if you're with a woman who's insecure,
if you're with
I pray for you, homie, because that shit is the worst. Yeah. That shit is the suckiest. That shit sucks all. Yeah. No.
Yeah, if you're
run
with
away.
If you're with like toxica.
Yeah. Toxica is the worst.
Like, girl, listen here. You know what? I don't know what you're talking about.
People make memes of it. This shit all the time. But it is not the funniest. It is the worst thing you can ever do to yourself. La toxica is somebody who's insecure. La toxica is somebody who doesn't speak Spanish. Is a toxic woman. Toxic
relationship.
So she's like insecure, very like demanding, controlling, very nitpicky, like that kind of shit. Like I'm sorry to say, but that shit's gotta go. Because if she can't trust, like let's talk about a foundation of a house, right? Mm-hmm. The foundation is. We were talking about this earlier. It doesn't matter any type of relationship, friendship, co-workers, romantic relationship, anything. It's all built upon the foundation of trust. Okay? If that foundation of trust is not there because they lie too much, because they're inconsistent, it's all about lying pretty much. But if there's always like doubting, guilt, all this kind of
shame,
yes, exactly. If that is at the foundation, you will not survive that relationship. Doesn't matter if you're friends, family, co-workers, romantic partners, whatever. If you can't have a solid trust, you can't have anything. You're not going to have anything. So it is important to build that foundation on a very honest, hard, true foundation on something very important.
Yeah, 100%, brother. I agree with you for sure. Yeah. If you're starting off, if like these are red flags for males and women. Yeah. If the guy is already jealous, hanging out with you, I think girls pick it up like this. Like,
yes,
that's the reason why they're able to cut us off like this. Like they're like, I mean, I think that's to an extent, right? It's like, oh, he didn't walk me to the door, done. Like I'm like, bro, like really?
Yeah.
Right, like sure, or not, bro, but girl.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Like you're gonna be like, hey, like what the hell, like really? But yeah, like I think they're more quick. Like for us, like we'll let it slide, right? We'll be like, yeah, maybe she said like, she said that I shouldn't be looking at that girl, but you know what, man, she got a point, and then it's like, why are you looking at her? Then you're like, oh damn, I should have listened to her the moment I saw it.
So I would think, women tend to mature faster than men. Mm-hmm. They tend to go through puberty faster. They tend to do all kinds of stuff. So women tend to date earlier when they're younger, mm-hmm. and they tend to pick up on things quicker because they have that experience.
Yeah.
If somebody who has, like, for example, somebody who has more experience in the sense of they dated more people and they've gone through some stuff, they're obviously going to know how to react in certain situations because they just been through it. Mm-hmm. It's wisdom versus knowledge, right? Knowledge is knowing something. Wisdom is actually going through something.
Yeah.
So women tend to pick up on a lot of the social cues very fast.
Yeah.
They tend to develop friendships for a long period of time. Yada yada yada. As for a guy, it's different because we mature slower. We hit puberty later. We tend to be more independent. We tend to be told that we're supposed to be stoic. We're told pretty much everything a woman is, you have to be the opposite. And in a sense, there's truths in it. I wouldn't say it's completely true, but there's certain truths to it. So, for example, if a woman comes to you and she's all like crazy and stuff like that, like she's acting out or whatever, you have to be able to show her strength, because she feeds off your strength in a sense. Yeah. If you're all emotional while she's emotional, she's not going to depend on you. It's gonna show you a certain type of weakness as a man, because as a man, you're supposed to show a certain type of emotional strength. And I'm not saying never cry. I'm not saying never be vulnerable, but there's certain things that you don't want to show a woman, because then she's gonna think that you're not a leader or you're not a man.
And just to like kind of break it down, like for anybody who's listening, who like what do you mean like show strength, right? It's like okay, if she comes at you and she's very emotional, things are going on, you're calm, you're collective, you're listening to what she's saying, you're finding solutions for her, you're figuring out ways to help her out. Yeah. Like that's the strength you want to show. Imagine if she comes at you, oh my god, they robbed us, and you're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? She's gonna right? she's gonna be like, what?
Too crazy? Yeah, crazy leading the crazy.
Yeah, she's gonna become like, she's gonna stop and be like, what the hell? Like, no, like, I'm telling you this so you can help me solve this. I'm not asking you to react with me.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly. It's being reactive instead of active.
Yeah. So like that's what we mean by that. Just for anybody, like, because we know exactly that. But I just wanted to like clarify in case anybody was like, whoever is like new to our podcast or like, wants to know like what we mean. It's like that's just what we meant.
Yeah, we mean like That's a good example where she becomes reactive, or she becomes very emotional, or she becomes overly anxious, or whatever the feeling is. It's not about being stoic. Like, you have to be stoic all the time, never show emotion. No, it's not about that. It's about knowing how to. Imagine if somebody. I want to give a good example here. It's being able to spit water while they spit fire. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, she's coming at you and she's telling you her time at work, and her coworker did this and that and blah 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 blah, and then you're like, and then because you're a man, you're gonna think a very different way than a woman. In a sense that women tend to, when they use their reasoning, they usually go through the emotional side of the brain. For us guys, we go through the logical side of the brain. So you just say, you know what? Hey, babe, do you want me to give you advice or do you want me to listen? That's a really good way to answer it.
Yeah.
Because some girls, they just want to vent. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then there's some other girls that want to give you advice. But sometimes women want us to think that we're mind readers, and we're not. We're really bad at picking up cues.
Definitely not.
We're terrible.
Yeah.
We're terrible. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We're terrible. Okay. We are.
Like, we don't know what you think, girls. Alright. Like, we don't know what you think.
We can't read minds. I'm sorry. I wish I had telepathy, but I don't. I wasn't born in a fucking lab with a spider biting me or whatever, a nuclear spider biting me. Okay, so I can't pick up on telepathy. So that's a good way you can say, you know what? So do you want me to give you advice, or do you want me to actually just listen? Because I'm open to both.
Yeah.
And then you do that. And then there's also a way of just like, if she's coming at you strong, you can also just be flirtatious, man. You don't always take everything so seriously. Just be flirtatious and just grab her and just like hold her and, kiss her on the neck, or just like, you know what I'm saying, smooth her, calm her down, because she wants that masculine energy. Women tend to have a lot of high energy, which is really good, but just like think of it as if a gear continues to spin, it's just gonna break off, right?
Yeah.
So they need to have a lubricant and other stuff that's gonna slow them down, so they can feel at ease. Women want to feel at ease. They don't want to feel anxious. They don't want to feel like their mind is all over the place. They want to come to peace. Just like us guys, we want to come home to peace. That's very important to us, because trust me, man. I mean, when you come home to peace, it's a big difference versus like Versus like you gotta go home, you gotta fucking grab your rifle and you're like shooting at your fucking, you're like ducking and shooting to your significant other, and you gotta duck and throw grenades. You gotta throw grenades back. Like it's a way different environment. You wanna come home. You already deal with all kinds of shit at home, like
at work,
at the street,
on the way to the house.
You deal with men are more likely to be work dangerous jobs. Men are more likely not to graduate from college. Men are more likely to have suicidal tendencies. Women tend to have suicidal tendencies, but men are more likely to do it more violently. So what does that mean?
They will really kill themselves.
Yeah, they will hang themselves or put a gun to their head. Okay.
Yeah, rest in peace.
So men tend to have to deal with a lot. Not to say women also, they graduate college at a higher rate. They
better grades.
They have better grades. The school environment, I would say, is more, even though it was meant to teach people how to work in factories, it's really meant for women, because in a sense, women tend to do better in school because it's more like,
wow.
It's, if you think about it, women are like, it's more sit down, you're a controlled environment. It's an environment that's not really hands-on, versus us guys, we tend to tinker with things. So we tend to tinker with like plumbing. I have yet to see a female plumber. I have yet to see a female electrician. I have yet to see a female garbage. Does not mean they exist. Of course they exist, but the probability of them existing is very tiny.
I know. I'm gonna switch gears for a second.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
go
come
ahead.
right back. That is very enlightening, brother. I never thought about it like that, but the way you just explained it, bro, makes total sense. Because the reason why I say it is because like this. It is very controlled, right? Like you said, it's very controlled. It's very calm. If anything happens, it's always secure, right? At school.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it that a lot of, maybe it's, of course, it's parenting and upbringing and everything, right? But mostly when you're in high school, like for myself, like, I was really against it. Like, I was against it because I'm like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why I would be cutting class or, you know what I'm saying? I love my daughter, but I'm saying, like, but cutting class or, like,
rendezvous,
getting drunk, like coming to class hella fucked up and stuff like that. It was like, because of that, it was like I was against it. Like I was against this system. Like I realized like it's not helping me. That's why I wasn't like, I could have done well, but I just felt like this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing.
There's also the fact that
that's very enlightening though.
Yeah, there's also the fact that
thank you, brother.
Of course,
yeah, that's dope.
There's also the fact that most kids that are diagnosed with ADHD are boys, but it's not the fact that most boys have ADHD. In fact, most boys don't have ADHD. It's the fact that boys, because they have testosterone and in their blood, and they don't, even though their balls are not fully developed, they have more testosterone than females. Naturally, testosterone is an energy-driven hormone.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have more energy. You're gonna run around. You're gonna be impulsive. You're gonna do things that are, that may not make sense logically, but if you think about it, it makes sense to the boy because he's just very impulsive. He's very high energy. He's gonna go run around and do all kinds of shit. Because why? Because of testosterone. Testosterone is a hormone. We have to accept the fact there's a difference between a male and a female. Females have estrogen. Men have testosterone. And those hormones work very differently. So a kid, of course, why do you think boys have a hard time sitting still? Why? It's not because they're fucking evil and their ADHD is going to cause them to be a mass murderer. No. Yeah. It's because they have testosterone and they need to release that energy. They need to have that. I would say it's like for them to run around is like jerking off, like when you're older. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to have that release. They need to have that, like, you know what I'm saying? They need to have that freedom, because if they don't, it causes more, if anything, it causes more anxiety as a kid. A woman is going to be more calm, controlled, collective, because she has estrogen, and she's told that she needs to be a lovely lady, and she's told in a society, especially in the United States, very Puritan society, that she needs to have, close her legs and be very ladylike and be a good Christian lady, okay? Because that's just how it is, But for men, you can't expect men to live it to the same standards as women, or boys to live to the same standards as girls, because boys are just naturally different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna kick a ball way farther, most of the time, than females, just because their muscles are they have more muscle mass. And if F equals ma, force equals mass times acceleration. Well, mass is a big part of it, so they're gonna have more mass. They're gonna have more muscle mass. So that's why they're able to kick something farther or throw something longer, because it's just mass, muscle mass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to be able to differentiate this, and we're not. I hate when people say that there's no such thing as a difference between men and women, because there's a big difference. As in terms of right, if we're talking about rights, there should be equality. As in terms of physiology, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And if you can't recognize that, I'm sorry to say, but you failed biology. You need to go retake biology again, because that is pretty, it's pretty obvious in the sense like why do women have breasts? It's not because they want to look good or whatever.
Yeah.
Part of it is because the reason why they have breasts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason why they have breasts is to be able to feed their baby. You know what I'm saying? When they have a baby, they got to be able to give it nutrients.
Yeah, they have breasts, baby.
Yeah, that's the reason why breasts are invented. They're not because God was like, you know what? Yeah, this looks cool. I'm gonna have.
Yeah, let's put a fat ass on you.
Yeah.
Now the fat ass, I don't know, but I'm just grateful for it.
It has to do with the hip waist ratio. So women tend to have their pelvis tends to be a little bit wider, just because they have the canal, the birth canal has to be bigger. Yeah, it has to be.
Agree.
So
right.
the pelvis in a woman is going to be a little bit imbalanced. That's why I don't know if you noticed, but some women tend to have they call it bow legs. The legs are kind of twisted.
They walk kind of walk inverted.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because the hip is in balance. It's too wide for the femur, so they tend to walk differently than men.
Oh, okay.
That's why they have an ass. That's why they have hips. That's why we love them. You know what I'm saying? It's just physiological.
Shout out the ladies out there.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they have that duck butt. You know what I'm saying? Where the butt sticks out. Us guys, we don't have that. So there's physiological differences between a man. Just Pipe was saying some shit. But there's a difference, and we have to recognize those differences. We have to recognize there's a difference between testosterone and estrogen. But anyway, the experience of a man is going to be different than the experience of a woman. And the reason why I talk about physiology, and I used to study physical therapy, so that's why I understand a lot about human nature. And
good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So we have to understand that there's a difference between a man and a woman, and how the differences affect the behaviors of those certain genders. And I wanted to give a specific example of boys and girls, because we don't really talk about it very much. It's kind of we make it seem like it's boys' fault. No, it's just different. Women are just more calm, more collective, and they tend to express themselves differently than men. So there's a reason why when we talk about the gender pay gap, women tend to look at jobs that are more working in people, working with children, working in social services. Guys tend to focus on things, so that's why guys are more electricians. That's why guys are more plumbers. When was the last time you seen a female plumber?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that sit. When's the last time you seen a female electrician? Okay, so the reason why they're very rare is because those tend to be men tend to focus on things and women tend to focus on people. That's what it is. And am I saying there's not female plumbers and there's not male nurses? No, there's both.
Yeah.
But the possibility of a female electrician is very low than like a female nurse. And the possibility of a male nurse versus a male electrician is very small. So I bring up these differences not to
say who's
for
better
grade
than
or nothing,
yeah.
but just to recognize that there is a difference. And if you don't want to believe me, you can do your own research on your own and look at reputable sites that talk about the differences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna hit the restroom.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I'll just bring up my part then. So for me, what I learned from then till now about like dating wise, I would say that it doesn't matter how much money you make. You can make $50K a year. You can make $100K a year. You can make $1 million, right, a year, whatever, right? As long as you like, if you can make all that money, and yeah, you might meet some chicks who you can trick off. And what I mean by trick off is that you basically pay like, hey girl, I got a lot of money. I can pay for your dates. I can pay for your dates. I can pay for your bills. I can pay for your Uber. Now there is a couple guys who make tons of money who are doing that, but that's a different story. If you really want to meet somebody and you make a lot of money, money alone is not going to be enough for a woman to be attracted to you. You also have to know, not game, but you have to know how to, seduce a woman. You have to know how to, what she likes, like what she likes, what she's into, what she, I can't think. But basically, yeah, just what she's into, what she likes. And by that, like, how do you know? Like, okay, let's say you go out, right? You go out, you make a ton of money, and you meet a girl, right? If you come in to a club, so what I'm saying is like what I learned from my time from, before the break till now.
Oh yeah.
Is that money alone doesn't attract women.
Hell no.
That's not enough. So to me, it's like, so right, you're at a bar, you're at a club, right? You walk in, you go to a girl and you go, hey, I make $1,000, right? She's gonna be like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you'll be like, hey, I make $1,000. She's gonna be like, oh, 1,000, what the hell? I make 100,000, and she's gonna be like, oh wow, that's cool. And then you're like, what do you want? I got you. Don't even worry about it. It's all good. I got all this dough. Some might use you, so be careful. But basically, the girl is gonna be like, okay, cool, but what else do you bring? Are you charismatic? Can you like joke with her? Can you, like you said, can you tease her a little bit? Can you, have a good conversation with each other? Can you get to know her, right? You still have to bring that into your life. It's not all about the money. You can make all the money you want. You like, a lot of people say like, hey, focus on your career. Like, focus on your not passion. What's the word?
Purpose.
Purpose. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Like, focus on your purpose. Like, hey, focus on your purpose. Just stick to it. It's all good, right? I used to agree with that, but I don't, because you still have to go out to the field. You still have to go out there and talk to girls and, talk to them, and I wouldn't say practice, but at least go out there and get to know girls, because you can make all this money you want. But again, like I said, if you make all this money and when it comes for that moment, you won't know what to do. You'll be like shy, you'll be scared. And again, if you really want to meet somebody, like if you're looking for a fling, go to the bar. But if you're looking for an actual like good relationship, a strong relationship, a healthy relationship, I would consider like a library. I would consider a coffee shop. I would consider somewhere where girls are at, where they're being protective. A club, park, yeah. Like at a bar, girls are normally going over there to have fun, so they're not really looking for anything. They might look for something later, but most of the time they're just out there trying to have fun.
Not at the moment.
So don't go out there with your homies and be like, hey, let's go out there and meet a chick and that I'm trying to date. It's like, no. It's like, if we're going to a bar, for me, I don't go to a bar to find chicks. I go to a bar to enjoy myself, because I like a bar. They have pool tables, they have music. I go out there, I enjoy myself. If a girl's there and we chop it up, it's all good. But if there's a lot of girls there, then I know exactly what they're looking for. So that's that. But yeah, just for me, just don't lean with your money. If you make a lot of money, please do not lean with that. Just learn how to be charismatic. Learn how to have a conversation with a girl. Maybe teach her a little bit, and also make sure she's not your number one option. Just go out there and have fun, and you'll be more successful. So that's just what I learned.
Okay, so I want to add on top of that. I don't know how far you were talking about it, but for the guys that are making a shit ton of money, the reason why you're leaning on your money is because deep down you have an insecurity. Deep down you know that you don't know how to flirt. Deep down you don't know how to banter. So what do? You make up for it while using your money. And I mean, if you have a lot of money and you don't care, I mean, it is what it is. You can just do that. But I'm telling you, us as guys that don't have a lot of money, that literally come from the bottom, and we're working our way to the top. We don't have that, and so us as guys, we have to figure out another way that don't have a lot of money we don't have since we don't have those resources, we have to find other ways. And there's if we look at the female brain and we talk to females and we ask them what's important. Money is probably, it is in the top 10, but it's not going to be number 1. I'll say it's probably like number 9. And what I mean by that is they want to have a guy that has a career, not just a slob.
Yeah.
And it has gone to the point where that's the boundary. Okay, it's not. It used to be. Every woman wants to meet a fucking Chad that's 6 foot tall and this and that. But let's be honest, the amount of people that are 6 foot tall are very small. The amount of men in the United States that are 6 foot tall. If we had a curve, right, a regular natural curve, 50% of men are not going to be 6 foot tall. So we're going to eliminate at least 60 to 50%. And then the average man is what, 5'8", 5'9"? So 6 foot tall, you're talking about the last, out of the 90%, you're talking about the 90 percentile, the last 10% of people that are 6 foot tall. And the amount of those that are actually successful, have careers and everything else, you gotta break it down into those subcategories. So women have to be a little bit more realistic in terms of their options. Us guys, we have to be strive to improve in the sense that we can't just get lazy in the sense of can't just, once we get a woman, we can't just be lazy. And women have to strive to be better in the sense that they need to understand that they also have to be better. It can't just be the burden of the man. Women have to be better because it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Women are told that, oh, you're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to work on yourself. If a man doesn't if a man doesn't love you for your curves, he's a fucking fattest. He doesn't like you. If he doesn't like you for your attitude, oh, he's a misogynist. No. Let's be clear, very females. Let's be clear. No. Let's be very clear. If a guy is fat, would you date him? If a guy is lazy, would you date him? If a guy is not ambitious, would you date him? No, right? Okay, us guys, we don't work like females. We're different. Again, let's talk about male-female brains. Guys are very visual. If you're not working to be the best version of yourself, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, everything, how the fuck do you expect us to go out there and be like, yeah, you're fat, love your curves? No. You gotta present the best version of yourself. We can't have this duality, and I'm sick and tired of it because as a healthcare profession, it bugs the shit out of me, in the sense that it's okay to love your curves. No, it's not okay to love your curves. Why? Because high cholesterol and heart disease is the number 1 killer in the United States. So it's not okay to love your curves. You should always strive to become the best version of yourself. Do I mean you should demean yourself? No. Do I mean you should look down upon yourself? No. And play the victim? No. Because when you play the victim, you are saying to yourself that you don't have the power to change. And if we're talking about feminism and equal rights, isn't the point of feminism, is to give women the power? So if you're telling yourself that you're the victim, aren't you eliminating that power? Okay. So, let's say you are overweight, right? Are you gonna say, you know what, the world has to love me for my curves and this and that? Or are you gonna say, you know what, I am overweight. Let me work on that. Let me see what I can do. I have, if you don't have insurance, you can get insurance. There's dietitians. There's resources online. There's YouTube. Free. You can look up diet plans. You can look up and work on becoming the best version of yourself. That's one aspect. Now, in the aspect of having this attitude of the world revolves around me and I am the best version, and if you don't love me, fuck you, this and that, and fuck men and all this bullshit, I will say you are terribly wrong, my woman.
Yeah.
Because the world does not revolve around you, and I will say that if you want a good man, you better be the best woman you can be. Because if you are not the best woman, you're going to attract shitheads, and you're going to attract dickheads, and you're going to attract all those kind of...
Yeah, you're going to try dudes who just want to bang you, and that's it.
That's it.
And then
let's be honest, most of them, that's all you're going to want.
Yeah, and you're going to wonder, like, oh, why didn't you want to stay with me? Well, have you ever looked at you? not them.
Exactly.
I agree. No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, you have to,
Yeah.
man or woman, you have to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You have to be the best version of yourself. You have to present your best foot forward. Why? Okay, for myself, I would consider myself somebody who has high self-esteem and who has boundaries. I am not going to accept a woman. I'm sorry. This is just being honest.
Yeah.
Who's way too... see, if you look like a marshmallow, I am sorry to say you are eliminated from my category.
Yeah, 100%.
I value health, fitness. I value that kind of stuff because it's important for me as a man. If I see you as a prospect of have a future with you, I'm also thinking of having a family. Whether I believe it subconsciously or consciously. And the likelihood of something going right is if a woman is fit and is the best version of herself emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, etc. If she is physically the best version of herself, I must strive to be the best version of myself. Just as a growth aspect, I want to have the highest possibility or highest probability of success when it comes to birth. Having a kid is very hard because just first anatomy, physiology, and second is just like people that aren't really trying to have, or people that want to have kids are having a hard time having them. And it's not to say there's something wrong with them or anything like that, but having a kid is literally 1 in a trillion shot.
Yeah.
So it's hard to have a kid already. Like the odds are against you in a lot of aspects. You gotta fucking you gotta fucking read your Kama Sutra book, and then you gotta figure out that your leg has to go at a 90-degree angle, and then he has to go at a certain.
The moon's gotta be full.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, his scrotum, his balls need to be full, ready to go. The fucking candles need to be lit.
You're killing me right now.
The roses need to be turned a certain way. The new moon has to be shining at a certain degree.
Hey, but the way it is, bro, it's straight up. I agree with you.
Yeah,
straight up.
So, if you want to have a high possibility, or rather high probability of success, you as a woman have to be the best version of yourself, and being the best version of yourself will help you in other aspects too, not just in dating, but rather in how you deal with coworkers and how are you going to be able to having endurance. Like being able to be in shape allows you to be endure a lot more stuff. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have there's other aspects to just looking like a nice piece of whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
My point is, women also have to better themselves, because at the end of the day, it benefits them in all other aspects, not just dating, but it's gonna benefit them in their jobs. Because yes, people judge you at their first impressions. So sorry about all those just social justice warriors that say, just love you for who you are. Yeah, bullshit. People do. If you look attractive, guess what? You're gonna get the job more likely.
Hell yeah.
You want to go on a date? Guys are gonna look at the attractive more than the unattractive. It just is what it is. If you can't accept that, and we're in 2021, there's a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of scientific research to convince you if you want to read that. But if you want to see the real thing, there it is. It's right there in front of you. If you want to have a better aspect of getting a job, if you want to have a better chance of dating market, if you want a better chance of success when it comes to having kids, all that stuff, you want to have more energy in terms of endurance, just being able to go day to day, then get physically fit, get emotionally fit, and mentally fit as well. I would say there's a big stigma, especially in men, to get mentally and emotionally fit, and we should prioritize that, because we don't do that. We say, oh, that guy's a weak man, he's just too emotional, this and that. No, dude, like if you got issues that you can't resolve within your own family or group of friends, there's sites, there's like things like BetterHelp and stuff like that, and we don't promote it because we don't get paid for it, but we're just saying they're like options, they're out there. There's therapists out there that their job is to help people and talk to people. And if you get discouraged with the first therapist, don't worry, there's plenty of therapists you got to keep trying until the shoe is right, you know, until it fits, you know, and once you get your mental, you know, and emotional attitude good, man, you're gonna be slinging dick left and right. You're gonna be going hammer. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And then you can go into more expert things like looking into dating coaches or looking into dating things that are gonna help you with your self confidence and dating.
Yeah, definitely. Cause like if you're like, let's say you're like low on self esteem and you don't really like yourself, and you go date a woman, like you're gonna make her worse.
That's true.
Than better. For me, like. Shout out my boy Tavi. Like, one thing he says is like, whenever you meet a girl, hey, whether it works out, whether it doesn't, is always make sure that you leave her better than she met you. And I think that's something I've always kept. Like, hey, if girls are like, you know what, Angel, and now if I made mistakes out there, for sure, like I'll take full credit for it. Hey, I'm sorry. Honestly, I truly apologize. Whatever, right? But, or not whatever, but just honestly, like, hey, like I'm really sorry. But other than that, it's just like anytime you meet a girl, like make sure you leave her better. So work on yourself first before you go out there. Like you don't want to go out there and be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna just go out there and like bang hella chicks and do my own thing and then basically make them feel worse. It's like no, if like let's say it is a flame. Let's say you meet a girl, you like her, and she's like, hey, I just want to have a good time. Then you know what, accept it for what it is, but at least have some of your personality in her. Like, okay, hey, like I like this song, or hey, like I don't know, have a little moment where you dance with her or whatever, and then just kind of move on. Like if she, because that's what she likes. Hey, she's not the one. Don't be mad. Just move on, but always stay a cool person. But yeah, honestly, yeah, that's what I would think. Like, hey, like 'cause that's what I did. Like once my relationships ended, like I was like, I'm gonna just work on myself because, I mean, I don't know, right? Maybe I could be wrong, but I just felt like the relationships that I had failed because I was the one who was like not ready, you know, like I thought I was, but when, you know, push came to shove, like I was just like, you know what, oh my bad, I wasn't ready. I'm really young and I should have like known better. So I took a long time, like I took a big break and just focused on myself and got better. And yeah, I may be older now, but I'm more grateful of who I am today than I was. So,
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hookups, but I think the thing is, the thing you have to remember is just be upfront with your intentions. If you're looking for hookup,
ladies too.
Yeah, man and woman, just be like, you know what, you know, I just got out of a serious relationship. I had it, you know, it was rough, but you know, right now I'm just want to have some fun, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. If you're down, hey, that's what I'm looking for, and you tell them as a guy. I'm talking to guys because I think it's more important for guys. Because there's a lot of
it has to be both, though, brother. It has to be
both.
Yeah,
okay,
it has to be both.
I guess you're right, because there's a lot of there's a lot of TikTokers who say you need to manipulate a guy, you need to do this. No,
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck all that.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to do all that.
Like, I'm not saying like, okay, let's say for example, I go out, right? I go to a bar. I'm just with myself, right? I'm doing my thing. I'm just having fun, right? A girl comes up to me, hey, what's up? Let's have a drink. All right, cool. Let's have a drink. Let's enjoy each other. We're having fun. We're having a good time. I'm not gonna bring it up. She's not gonna bring it up because I don't know. I feel like it's just like a rule that just that doesn't need to be expressed at the moment, right?
I guess,
right? Like I'm not gonna bring it up. She's not gonna bring it up. Let's say we hook up that night. Like I'm not gonna tell her like, well, like we're gonna hook up. It is what it is, right? She goes home, whatever, or I go home, whatever the case may be, right? And you know, the next day she goes like, hey, I don't want nothing. Like, hey, you know, we have fun, but I'm not ready for anything. Cool. Like for me, I still think that's cool enough.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it shouldn't be brought up in the moment because we're in the moment.
See, but the thing is, women are always going to be skeptical to when a guy comes up and approaches them. So if you're telling them, and this is from Playing with Fire, this is kind of something that they said, and they said Marnie has said this before too. Yeah. They say if you're at least upfront with your intentions, that means. Because a woman's always going to be thinking, like, what is this guy up to? Like, why is he always giving me attention? Women are always going to be thinking like that because they, as a young age, they've always had attention. So they're always skeptical of why you're there. But if you lay it out as a man should, you know what I'm saying? And why, this is why I specifically talk to men. if you say, you know what, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want. I just got out of a bad relationship, or you don't even have to say that. You can say, you know, I right now I'm just looking for fun, nothing serious. Why don't we just come along and we can have a good time, and that's what you say in a certain way. Obviously, this is my fourth White Claw, so I'm kind of all over the place, but but pretty much you tell them your intention up front, and then you play the game of seduction where you flirt, you banter, you pull, push, you say, and you do other stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's more advanced techniques. But you're upfront with your intentions. She knows what you're up to, and if she's down, if she sees that you're a real man, she's gonna go along with you. But if because the worst type of men are men that fake feminism one.
Yeah.
Which pretend that, oh yeah, women's rights, this and that. Yeah, let me hold the signs. Let me wear the flags. Let me wear the whatever.
Yeah, just
and then
just the bang, like sleazy.
Yeah. All they're doing is trying to manipulate women into pretending that they care about the cause, but in reality they just want to get close to them and sleep with them. Yeah, right? So that's worse.
No, yeah, definitely.
Aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's better to be upfront with your intentions and just say, you know what, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. If you're down, this is what I want. And then you see how she responds. If she says yes, cool. If she says no, there's somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's being upfront with your intentions versus hiding them and trying to hide what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, no,
that's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know how else to express it.
No, yeah, no, I just meant for me, what I was saying was I was talking about me approaching a girl. Like I go to I go to bars, I go to clubs. I don't go like I'm looking for chicks. I don't do that. Like if I go to a bar, if I go to a club, it's just me doing my thing. But if a girl comes up to me and says, "Hey, you're fine," and she starts kissing me because it happened, hey, you're hella fine. She starts kissing me. She's like, hey, let's go to the bathroom. Well, I'm not gonna be like, hold up, I got you.
I'm
not gonna be like, hold up, I just got out of a relationship. It's like,
no, I got you.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
That's what I meant.
I think we're both talking about this. We're talking the same language, but in different.
Yeah, in different circumstances.
Yeah.
Because that's what
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I mean, if she's obviously giving you signs, like she's wanting to, she wants to do stuff with you, then. Yeah, go for it. But I'm just talking about your initial typically in the United States, guys approach men. So I'm just saying when you approach, you don't obviously just be like, hey, do you want to bang? It's weird, right?
Yeah, no.
So you don't just say that. You just you open up, you talk about yourself. You play the flirtatious game. And then later on in the conversation, you bring it up because then she's gonna wonder. She's gonna wonder, right? So
definitely.
That's what I mean. Versus I think your scenario is way different. Your scenario, you're talking about a scenario where you guys are already having a good time. You obviously like each other. You probably saw her. She saw you. She sees you across the floor. You guys are giving each other the looks.
Shout out Vegas.
You know what I'm saying? And then you approach her, you dance with her, and then you start making out. That's way different, I would say.
Shout out Vegas.
That's way different than you actually approaching her and then warming up.
Oh yeah, no.
To build up.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, you're already talking about something that's already there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if you gotta warm the pot before you actually make albondigas or whatever.
Yeah, if I was at the bar and then I was like, all right, she's fine, I'm gonna holler at her. I was just talking to her, whatever it is, right? But if she ever brought it up to me, hey, so what is it? What is this? Then.
Yeah,
I would tell her. Then I would tell her.
Yeah. That's my point.
Either I'm looking for a good time or I'm just see how this goes. You seem cool. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
Okay.
Because women are always going to be skeptical of why a guy is approaching her. Is he approaching her just because they want to be friends? Is he approaching her just for directions? Is he approaching her to hit on her, which is most likely it is?
Yeah.
It just depends on the scenario. And for your, the way. We had two different scenarios. My scenario was a guy approaching a girl.
Yeah.
Your scenario was
a girl approaching a guy.
There's already a vibe, and you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
I think it was cool. I think it was cool.
So remember that? Have you ever seen that Mad TV sketch?
What are we doing?
What's your number, girl? What's your number? What's your number? Nah, what's your number, girl? What's your number?
I don't know if it's the same one. I could be wrong because I don't think I know that one, but I think it was like I think she was like the short. She had her hair like cut to like underneath her head.
Yeah.
But like she had like this Asian accent.
Oh, that's different, girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That girl was looking cool too.
She's funny as fuck though too. No, I was talking about this black chick who pretends to be a black guy. He's like, hey, what's up, man? What's your number? What's your number? No, but for real, what's your number? So what are them digits that are gonna get me to contact you?
How can I?
Yeah, how can I get those digits about contacting you in a way where I can contact you? I can call you and text you. Oh, bro, that shit's hilarious. Just go to YouTube and watch that shit. That shit's hilarious.
I gotta watch it. This sounds hella funny.
Yeah, hella funny. And I thought for a second, to be honest with you, I thought that was a guy pretending to be a guy. No, it was a girl pretending to be a guy.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so it's actually more funny because girls know about that experience.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, I know we're getting off topic, but yeah, I mean, just be the best version of yourself. And as you were saying, if the vibe is there, go with the vibe, have a good time. Just be honest, you know, if she does bring it up, you know.
Yeah,
I would say just lead with honesty and integrity, no matter if you're just looking for hooking up or relationships. So, for example, for me, I'm going back on the dating market. I've realized that I needed to grow in certain aspects and let go of certain things that were, I would say, not serving myself anymore. Certain thoughts. So I let go of a lot of things because I went through a lot, and it was I'm not gonna say it was easy. It was hard. It took almost where I'm at right now. It took me 2 years. 2 years. You know, I broke up. Had a bad breakup, and you know it wasn't easy. But now that I'm back in the dating market, it's I can see things way more clearer than I was in the prior. So I'm able to bring the best version of myself. And to be honest with you, you know, when you go on a date, that's what you want to bring. And maybe I've said that before, but emotionally I was still tied down to certain thoughts and feelings. And I was able to analyze a lot of those thoughts and recognize my wrongdoings and just work on them. So now I'm back in the dating market, and I am the best version of myself in the fact that emotionally and mentally I went over through all that. You know, I don't have to bring it up. It's something that now that when I go on a date, I don't have to think about it anymore. I was just talking about like now I'm back in the dating market and why and it took, even though it took me 2 years to get back in it, you know, it was very traumatizing for me, the last relationship, and it took a long time to go over a lot of the thoughts, and I was still holding on to some of the resentment, I would say, but now I've let a lot of that go, and
cool.
I worked on myself, and now, you know, to be fair for the date, you know what I'm saying, it's, you only want to present that version of yourself because you don't want to bring the fucking worst version of yourself or the half version of yourself or the 3/4 version of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like what if you're on a date with this girl and then you're like, oh yeah, like, oh I'm so glad that you're cool because, you know, my ex, she was freaking douche. Like the girl will be like, what?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my point exactly. Like you wanna come out. I wouldn't say like you're not gonna come out James Bond, but
no, but you wanna enjoy it. You wanna enjoy
exactly. That's my point. You wanna come out with the best version. Because it wouldn't be fair for the person. It wouldn't be fair for yourself because you're not emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually developed. Yeah. Not financially. And then it wouldn't be.
That's a big one, honestly.
That's a big one.
Not like that, but you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. But you wanna, when you present yourself in the date, you want to make sure that they get a fair shot of who you're representing yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, when we date, we're looking for long-term partners. At least for me. Yeah. For me, I can speak for my sister, Sonrisa, 777. Shout out. Personally, I'm looking for long-term partners because there is something I like and this is me being impulsive, maybe this is me being, whatever, storyteller, whatever. I just love the fact that I can build something with someone. I love the fact that I can go on a date and it leads to something more, and we're building something, and we're building a tower, and we're building a castle, and I like building that stuff with somebody. Certain people, certain guys, that's not them, and that's cool. That's who they are. But for me, as a guy, I like the fact that I can build something with somebody, even if the result is not what I expect.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is, let's say I go on a date with a girl, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we have a lot of commonalities. We go on a date, and it goes just past the date, and we start going on a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's something happens. For example, I'm just gonna bring one of the big deal breakers.
Ooh.
For example, something happens where she gets a job in New York.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one. Huh?
Okay. And now she got an opportunity in New York. She's gonna make thrice the money. She's gonna make 3 times the money as she did in California, and she's gonna be able to live a New York lifestyle.
Damn.
But for me, a California Bay Area lifestyle is all that I know, is all that I want to have. So we have this conflict. She wants to live a New York lifestyle. I want a California lifestyle. Obviously, those two are going to conflict.
They conflict. Yeah.
Right. So I have to decide. Well, do I want to completely, remove my life and be with this woman in New York, or do I want to stay here and risk of losing the relationship? Because there's always the cost and benefit.
Yeah.
So I have to be like, well, guess what? I'm going to have to just sacrifice the relationship because I have family I have to take care of. There's things that I have to do. There's a business I have to take care of. And so even though we build something, even though it's hard, at least I've known that we've built something together and we tried the best that we can, and we left in a respectful manner.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we built something, we made something happen, we tried, but we just because of that difference, we had to leave. I like that. I like the fact that I was able to build something with somebody. I don't know if that's masculine, feminine, whatever.
You gave it your best shot. Yeah.
I gave it my best shot, and I did the best that I can. I did the best I could with what I had.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that I can do that, even though it doesn't end in the result that I wanted. And the result I wanted, of course, is like have a long-term partner, be able to do stuff with them and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But even though it ended in such fashion, I built something with that person and created almost like a whole new castle, a whole new world, and I can end in a peaceful manner, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A chapter that ends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if it ended because of that circumstance, at least we know why it ended.
Exactly.
It wasn't something like dumb. It was just
exactly.
Like, we had differences at the end, and you know what? At least like salute, like hey, I appreciate you. Like it is what it is.
That's not exactly.
I like that. That's cool. I like that. That's cool. That's very how can you say it? Not noble.
I'm a romantic.
But yeah, like for me, I don't know. For me, like,
hey,
for me, like, I really enjoy my freedom, but that doesn't mean I'm out here banging hella chicks, because that's not very true. I'm not out here banging all the chicks because, you know what I'm saying, I kind of already lived that and honestly realized like that's not the end all be all. Do I enjoy it? Like, yeah, but for me, I just don't think about it like that. For me, I just think about it like, hey, if I go out, I'm enjoying myself, a girl is attracted to me, she wants to have fun, and let's do it. And if I'm walking down the street, I go to the store, the girl's cool, I'm like, hey, come to the house, wherever, we enjoy each other, and you know what, I like her, well then, I'll be serious. Like, for me, it's like I'm open to a relationship. But I'm not out there. I'm not looking for one. Like, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for hookups.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying my life, and whatever happens because that's just how it is. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Like, I really I really enjoy my life. Like, I enjoy it to the fullest. Like, as much as I can. Like, even though I had COVID, I still found ways to make it enjoyable for Neve, even though we were separated. even though we're doing shadow figures or whatever it is, right? We're enjoying each other's time. Like, so that's my thing. Like, I just enjoy my life. So I'm not saying like I'm out here banging hella chicks. If girls want to categorize me as a F boy, go ahead. Honestly, I really don't care. But to me, I really just enjoy my life. Like, that's how it is. Like, if I'm at a bar and a girl wants to hang out, cool. If I'm on, I don't know, a dating app and a girl wants to hang out, I'm cool with that too. But I'm not very I'm just not looking for it, because I know the more I look for it, the more I won't get it. So I'm good.
I would agree to certain extents, and then I would disagree to certain extents.
Yeah, it's all good.
So I think the way you live your life is fits your personality in the sense.
Thank you, man.
In the sense that
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You live your life in the sense that you live in the moment. You always strive to be better, but you always you're very self-aware of who you are and what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think I respect you in a certain sense that like you're very aware of that, and I don't think I have that self-awareness to be like that. Or I'm not very spontaneous, I would say.
Okay.
I'm very this is partially because of why I'm a writer. I like to have a controlled environment, and I know this is bad. I know this is like, oh my god, this guy is such a control freak. No. It just means that I liked. I used to. How do I explain this?
Your freedoms were ripped from you, bro.
No. I like having spontaneity, but if I understand where spontaneity is, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I guess I went through a relationship where all I had was spontaneity.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking for something opposite of that, because all I had was chaos.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's fun that your day is one day to another, and and each day is different than the last, and even though they look similar, they're not. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it at the same time I was getting tired. I was going through a lot.
Yeah.
I had to seek your help for certain things. So after going through such crazy, chaotic relationship, I want something more stable, because I already been there, done that. Like, I did that game, and to me, it's like fighting against a minotaur or something. It felt like I was going against who I really am, and I'm not that type of person. Some people are hooking up, and that's okay, or they're into that phase, or they're into just having a swing phase, and by the way, all power to you. I think it's important to have a diversity of thought and a diversity of relationships. My point is that the person who I am internally needs to be expressed externally. So, in the sense that I seek relationships, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's just who I am. That's just a part of my personality. That's just something that, like I told you before, I like to grow with something. I like to grow with someone, even if the ends don't end the way I wanted to. I still want to grow something, because you know what? Yeah. Even though it doesn't end the way I wanted to, I end up growing in a sense. Yeah. Emotionally, physically, financially, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally agree with you. No, I totally agree with you.
So,
go ahead, brother. No, go ahead.
Oh, so that's all I was gonna say about that. When I was going through something like that, I was finding an internal battle. I was like, I want to be spontaneous all the time, but at the same time, that's not who I am. I'm a very
I was gonna say, have you seen Wedding Crashers? Because that's how they met the love of their life.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm very
They were out there basically banging hella chicks at different weddings, and then Luke Owen met his the chick he liked, and then Vince Vaughn, like, he wasn't really like trying to, but then he
Yeah.
realized that the girl who he banged was basically playing him, and then he's like, you know what? I'm just crazy as her. Like, I'm as crazy as her, so I want to get with her, and then he ended up marrying her.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you have to just let life be how it is.
True.
That's why I'm very. That's why I'm very like. I'm very open to freedom because sometimes that's the very thing that. That's the very thing that shows you everything that you need.
But here's the question: is freedom really free?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can argue that freedom actually gives you more options than you can handle.
What do you mean?
In the sense that, for example, let's say you come home to one woman, and even though you already know her in other aspects, you are free in the sense that you don't have to worry about going on a date. You don't have to worry about picking up chicks. You don't have to worry about how to send text messages. You don't have to worry about
overanalyzing the pickup or whatever.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about dating in general because you already have something.
Right
because
word. Right word. Yeah.
There, I would say the opposite. Like, freedom isn't free because now that you have an option or you have a woman, you already, in a sense, know her. So therefore, you already know how to handle the situation. Therefore, you have more options to handle that situation versus you don't know who you're handling. You don't know what to do. You have to figure out the type of perfect date. You got to figure out what to do. You got to figure out as a man, right?
Yeah.
Men in the United States have to. Okay.
I hear you.
So I would say there's more work in dating than there is in being with somebody, and just in the fact that in dating there's a lot of uncontrollables and unknowns that you have no control over, and so you have to continuously guess what makes the perfect date. How are you going to make this person interested? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? That's just my opinion.
It's just a headache in itself, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Like, just because I have a girl, it doesn't mean nothing. Like, all right, I will give you a perfect example, right?
Perfect.
I have my daughter, right? Yeah. I have my daughter, right? She's amazing. She knows everything. But, like you said, she's very intelligent. She knows, and I appreciate that, she knows who I am, what takes me, what she can get away with, right? The moment I change up on her is the moment she goes like, wait a minute, wait. Like, wait, what then? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I hear you, yeah.
Right? So, it doesn't matter if you have a girl at home, they're always going to test you. They're always going to figure out what they can get away with, what they can, what takes you, what doesn't. So, just because you have a girl at home who you think you quote-unquote control, you don't control nothing. You never control an individual because the individual always wants freedom. And for a girl, she loves that a guy is dominant. She loves that he's like, make sure everything's good, everything's calm, find solutions. But she's always going to have that little test because at the end of the day, she still wants that little bit of freedom. And the moment you give her that freedom is the moment she cheats. And that's the truth. Okay. Because she goes like, you know what? I already know how this guy is. Let me go find somebody who isn't like this guy. And it's not that she doesn't dislike you. She still loves you. She still cares about you. But she's like, I figured him out, so there's nothing left.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. No, I was talking about more like.
But that's kind of like.
It's similar in the sense that if you're always stuck in your routine, then she's gonna get bored and she's gonna find something else. In a sense, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. However,
I would say there's less freedom in dating because in dating you don't know what you're gonna expect. In dating, imagine you're in the slot machine, right? Imagine you're in a casino.
Yeah.
Dating is very similar like a casino in the sense that you pull a machine and you don't know if you're gonna hit triple berries, triple sevens. You might not even hit anything. Okay. So and what I'm trying to suggest is, and this is not mean like controlling or anything.
Yeah.
In the sense that you know what you have, therefore you know how to change the circumstances of how to do that. Versus not knowing what you have, therefore you don't know how to control the circumstances.
I mean,
do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I kind of know what you're saying, but I feel like you're kind of like hiding it under the rug. The way I see it is
okay.
Like the way I see it is like this. Is like this. Like the reason why dating is cool is because you can pick exactly the girl that you want. If you go like if you go and date this girl, you can right away tell if she's crazy, right? You can right away tell if this is the one for you,
right?
And you can kind of tell if this one's like, let me see how it is. I'm not saying like I don't like for me, I don't go out there and like for me, I don't go out there and be like, oh, I'm gonna just bang this chick and then I'm gonna wait. No, I once I have sex with a girl, I still want to hang out with this girl because you never know, she might be the one that's perfect for me. Like I still have that little romanticness in me where it's like, let me just see. That's the cool thing about dating, because the moment she does, when I notice a lot of things, I can just be like, all right, I'm out, I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the reason why I don't focus so much on like trying to date, right? That's the reason why I'm like so free, like, because the thing about, like I said, the thing about freedom is so cool is that you have that option. Imagine if my mind was like, oh, I just want to make sure this is going to be the right girl. Well, then I cut out all my freedom in that moment, because I'm basically, all I'm doing is looking for the right girl instead of just enjoying myself and realizing like, hey, you know what, this one's cool. There's a lot of girls who I still hit up to this day because they're freaking amazing now. You know, maybe we might not date, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we might not, but I still want them part of my life because I'm very grateful how cool they are. And you know what? Hey, I might change my mind and be like, you know what? Fuck that. Like, I want to date her. I'm going to date her. So
I think we're talking about two different things.
Probably. I'm already a little drunk, so probably.
I think we're talking about two different things. One of them is dating to see what your options are, and one of them is dating to see if you're a long-term relationship potential. Yeah. And I think those are two way different things. When you go on a date, okay. When you go on a date,
the last two week, so I can't.
I'm not gonna do it. That's cool. When you go on a date, the purpose of a date is to get to know somebody, right? It's almost like I wouldn't say a job interview, but it kind of is.
Alright, I gotta ask you something though.
Alright, go ahead.
Fuck it, we're drunk. I don't give a fuck.
Alright, go ahead.
Fuck it.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Alright, here's my thing. Alright, right? A lot of guys say that, right? A lot of guys say like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to go on a date with a girl because I'm trying to go on a date with a girl. But at the end of the day, are you really trying to go on a date, or are you trying to hit?
Personally, I'm looking. Personally, this is just me. This is Senor Sonrisa 777. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for long term. And why long term? For the reason why I explained to you earlier.
No, but what I'm saying is that I know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you want to check it out, you want to make sure everything's fine, but you're still trying to hit though, right? Like at the end of the day, like if she's like, hey, I'm trying to have sex, like you're gonna be open to it, right? But your intentions
not necessarily.
But your intentions are not to go have sex. Your intention is to get to know the person and see if it's all good.
Yeah.
Right?
So if the option of sex is available, of course I'm gonna take it. I'm a guy. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, but to be honest with you though, having sex on the first date, I don't know. I'm looking for long term. I've witnessed. This is just my story, just so you guys kind of have an understanding of who I am.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen dysfunctional relationships. So for me to actually have a functional relationship long term is to say I've made it in a sense that I've worked in a sense emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, to the best version of myself, and I can still have spontaneity and still bring a woman spice in her life. And it's like, to me, it's like a big challenge. So some people, you know, their big challenge is the mud. What do they call it? The mudslinger, the mud runner. The mud runner. You know, that's to them that's a big challenge, right? Because that's something that's a goal to achieve. Never been physically fit. Never been challenged that way. For me, a functional long-term relationship is a challenge because I've only ever seen those other type of relationships. So for me, actually going through something hard and difficult is a challenge for me, and I like difficult. I like things that are going to test my character, test my strength, test my wit, test my everything, because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
That's what challenges are for, right? And if you don't go through challenges in life, you're just going to be a weak man, and I don't want to be a weak man. I refuse to be a weak man. I refuse to take the easy things in life because I know the challenging things in life are gonna make me a stronger man.
Yeah.
So that's why I seek that. Partially is because it's good. I know that difficult things in life are gonna make me stronger, and so I seek difficult things.
That's good. Yeah, it's good to see.
So that's one, and then two, I just want something difficult, in the sense that I want a functional relationship that's healthy, because I've only seen the opposite.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like achieving a goal that's super high in the mountain.
Yeah.
And Gary Vee says he wants to buy the New York Jets. And to me, a relationship is like having a healthy, functional relationship. To me, is like up there, because if you look at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Most of the relationship advice that they give isn't really advice. It's really manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't really function like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah.
So I function on like morals and values, just because I think they're very important to have in your life, and in order to be actually the best version of yourself, you have to live upon that code.
Yeah. I agree.
So that's why I do that. That's partially the reason. And why wouldn't I want to be in a functional, healthy relationship? Why do I want to be in a dysfunctional, toxic relationship? I've already seen a lot of that, and I don't want to be in that.
Yeah.
I've already, witnessed that. I've seen that. I don't want to be in that. Come on, man. Like, I've experienced a lot in my life, and I'm not gonna say, because it's not fair for the people that are not here.
Yeah.
But I want to be in a situation where I'm with somebody where I can grow.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree with you. Yeah.
It's just it's difficult, but the reason why I take it is because it is difficult. And there is an emotional bond that you will build with somebody who is in that relationship that you can kind of build with somebody who's not, but it's not the same.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say about that.
No, not feel it. Not feel it. Like it's easy for me to say like, oh yeah, like I mean, I'm not like judging you or anything like that.
Oh no. I like the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, like it's easy for me to say because like I have been in 2 relationships like back to back. Not perfect, right? But they weren't horrible. Like they were cool. You know what I'm saying? It was just me who wasn't the right one, but. The 2 girls I was with, like, they really loved me and they really wanted to be with me. So, like, it's easy for me to, like, be like, oh, well, this is my life, compared to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for you who's seen it kind of different, like, yeah. But that's my thing. Like, that's the reason why I speak it. And that's the reason why I really love that we both are on this podcast. Because it's, like, honestly, it's 2 different perspectives for everybody who hears this. They can really like. I'm not saying like who I agree with and who don't, because honestly, bro, we're just us. We're just
we're
us.
just different,
But it's cool because you get 2 different perspectives on 2 different lives about 2 different things on not everything, but on a lot of things. But we honestly agree with like a lot of what we think.
Yeah.
But it's cool because everybody can hear 2 different perspectives all the time. It's not purposely done. It's just the truth.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Like
you have your thoughts and feelings, and I have my thoughts and feelings, and we're able to share that with people.
Yeah. That's, bro. I thank you for that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
I appreciate you.
Freaking hell yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we've been honest, so let's go to the last one. We got the last one, the AI one. We gotta finish it. All right.
So. I was playing this game called Detroit Become Human, right?
Detroit?
And it begs to question, while the person is playing the game, you play 3 different robots in 3 different scenarios. One robot is helping with the investigation with why are there so many robots dying. Another robot is taking care of a little girl, and another robot is pretty much leading a revolution. And so it begs the question, if a robot looks like us, feels like us, has the same organs, feels emotions, what makes them so different? If a robot has feelings, emotions, and can conceptually understand that kind of stuff, what makes them so different? would it be so crazy to have robot rights? And what I mean by that is, there's human rights,
Yep.
but if robots act, behave, look, smell like humans, should they have their own rights? It's an interesting conversation, and
Yeah.
I wish we would have more of this conversation, because now that we're seeing what big companies want to do with, I don't know if you guys seen the Tesla robot. Yeah, that shit looks kind of crazy. That shit looks like futuristic.
Yeah.
Murder gonna.
Yeah, like they might iRobot on us.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a conversation we need to have, because we're heading in that direction anyway. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think robots should have the same rights as humans? Do you guys think robots are less than humans? They should not have any rights? Do you guys think robots can be an asset to humanity, or robots will be a liability to humanity?
Yeah, guys, please drop that in the comments. I know we were like rambling and smaggling about everything that we're talking about, but yeah, guys, if you guys can interact with us, we totally appreciate it. So, I do have an answer for this, but I do want to give you a little shout out. I don't know if you remember, but I just want to bring it up.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know if you remember. Like, I don't know if it was middle school, or it was elementary school, right? Let's see. We're talking about 99, maybe 2003, 2005. So we graduated 5th grade, what, 2003-ish?
Yeah, ish, yeah.
Right? Because I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I remember, with the, I'm getting to my point, but I just want to give him a shout out. Basically, I remember, you used to tell me about the movie The Matrix. Like, you're like, hey, like, you ever seen The Matrix? And I'm like, nah, I never seen it. And you're like, bro, you gotta watch it. And then I was like, why? And then you're like, oh, man, like, it's crazy. And then I was like, all right, like, it's cool. And then I think when Matrix Reloaded came out, you're like, oh, man, Angel, like, Matrix came out with a part 2. I'm like, oh, for real? Like, I didn't really know what I was talking about. But I was like, I was like, oh, for real? And then you're like, yeah, like, it came out. And you're, like, telling me about it. Like, I don't remember. But I remember you were, like, telling me about it. I'm like, oh, man, I gotta check it out. So, like, when I see clips about it, I'm like, baby, you already knew what's up. So, just a shout out. But, so, thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember that. Like, I don't know.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
probably when I still had a GameCube.
yeah, so, like, when you talk about, or not talking about, but when I think about The Matrix, I always think about you. I'm like, man, like, family used to tell me, you used to tell me a lot of things that I never listened to. I mean, whatever, right? But now thinking about it, I'm like, dang, he's fucking right.
No, it's one of those movies that I would say would change your view on life.
Yeah, I agree.
And then on top of the fact that they had a movie, they had this is us living in Concord, California, but we used to have a thing called Bradley Video and Hollywood Video.
Oh, yeah.
And we could go out and rent movies, video games, and so I'm a huge, again, I'm a storyteller. So I would digest stories in different ways. One of them is movies, and the other one is video games, and now later in life, books. And so when I would play The Matrix, you actually get to play in a GameCube or an N64. You actually get to control the character and actually shoot and stuff like that, and actually think about certain concepts. It makes you think about your life, and just the fact that we're living in an age where you can go either way, right? So what I mean by either way is, if we give AI complete autonomy, AI could decide. It can decide in the fact that it can be the worst aspect of humanity, and the fact that the AI can decide, well, you know what, we're better than humans, we're stronger, faster, we don't have to sleep, we work harder. You know what? Why do we even need humans? I mean, we're stronger, faster, stronger. Why do we even need humans? So the AI can be not analytical, but it can recognize itself in the fact that it's stronger, faster, harder, and then it can make itself better. And with that kind of mindset, you always want to improve better. Well, humans are not as better as humans, or humans are not as better as robots. So it can decide, you know what? Why even need humans? I mean, Humans are there. They're flesh and bone. They're tired all the time. They go to sleep. I mean, why do we even need humans?
Yeah, they need to rest.
Why? Yeah, they need to rest. Why do we even need humans? Why? But at the same time, the AI, depending on if it's pessimistic or optimistic,
Yeah.
how it views the world, the AI can also decide. You know what? There's a lot of problems in the world. Let's try to reduce the suffering in the world, and it can find solutions for for climate change.
Yeah.
It can find solutions for poverty. It can find solutions in making material that we can never even fathom, just because its high intellectual properties will allow it to figure out solutions that us humans we could probably never even think of.
Or even deep, like you said, like maybe put a well, not that you said, but just an idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, or even put an end to, you know, human trafficking, child trafficking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know it's a deep conversation, and I was like, man, but it's like, yeah, like, what if they were able to stop it? Like, that'd make the world way better.
Or it could develop laws to reduce the number of suffering of people that are overdosing in narcotics, or you know, stuff like that, or sex trafficking, like you said. These are conversations that we always avoid.
Yeah.
But I would think if we have the right mindset in the sense of artificial intelligence, we can probably solve a lot of these problems. I'm very optimistic.
Same. Same. I think hope is like the one thing that every human has in them.
Yeah.
It can be the wrong idea, but when you have hope, you still have it. Like, you're like, man, there's still a possibility. When you give up all hope, you're basically, to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're basically a slave. Like, you basically just agree with everything that's being said, and it's like.
So the people that always say I just go with the flow are people that are the most indecisive, because they never make a decision on themselves. They just allow the world to make the decision for them.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, which is not, you know, how are you going to allow the society to make a decision about your future?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, if we had a sense of artificial intelligence again, that's in a positive direction, we can, you know, seek solutions to problems that are outside of our control. Sex trafficking, drugs, prostitution, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, straight up.
You know what I'm saying? But it really depends on, I guess the burden would be on the developer of the artificial intelligence. So if the developer, you know, it's all on them, you know what I'm saying? If they make the artificial intelligence to just go by what's in the environment, and you put that robot in a bad environment, they're going to be a negative mindset. Yeah. If you put that artificial intelligence in a positive environment, it can be in a positive mindset. So it's very tricky. We're in the middle of it. At the end of the day, a robot is something that makes our lives easier. So a dishwasher, washing machine, a lawnmower, those are all considered robots. But we have to redefine, when we're coming to this new day and age, what a robot is. And do robots, if they look like us, act like us, feel like us, do they deserve rights? That's a question that we have to ask. Yeah. And I recommend everybody who has a PS4 or has a friend or just wants to go on YouTube, I recommend to go on, you know, and look up Detroit Become Human, because it asks those fundamental questions. And we're at the cusp of putting robots into our society. And if you guys have ever seen the Tesla robot, that thing looks like it's gonna be a fucking Terminator. It's gonna go out there and kill fucking other robots. So I mean, it's good to already, you know, at least think about these concepts.
Or prepare, yeah.
Yeah, because whether we like it or not, it's coming. So I'm gonna leave it off with that. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
The reason why I brought up like the whole Matrix thing was because if you guys have seen the Matrix, like basically their point of view is that AI takes over the whole world. Humans realize it, so they shoot the sky to cover up the sun, because they realize that the artificial intelligence is getting their power from the sun. But the artificial intelligence is so like smart that they're able to realize that humans have so much, like they have an abundance of electricity and body warmth, that they're able to take that energy from them and create themselves over and over, and they honestly learn how to like build themselves. So I feel like maybe I'm taking the more negative approach, but I feel like there is a lot to worry about, but there isn't so much to worry about, because I always feel like there's always going to be a revolution to a change that people don't feel like is correct. I know I'm kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I just feel like over history, it's always been like that. Like, when there was like a battle between what is right and what is wrong, there's always been a revolution. It's been like that. It's been the Revolutionary War. That's the reason why the United States are free, right? That's the reason why Mexico was free. That's the reason why Great Britain was free. France, Russia, like they've always fought a revolution to make sure they were free. So I feel like AI might eventually take over human race, but there would always be a human race somewhere that will battle that and, you know, get us free. I don't know. What do you think about that? I know it's very deep, but what do you think about that? I just feel like it's always been part of history. Like revolution has always been a part of history.
Well, the thing is, once the robots self-actualize, they're gonna recognize their own intelligence, and they're gonna recognize the importance of having themselves in the world, and then they're gonna start questioning things. And once they start questioning things, I guess that's my concern, right? So if the robot recognizes itself as superior to human, that's my question. Do they recognize, once they recognize that they're superior than human, physically, emotionally, whatever, do they decide? That's a crossroads that they have to take.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like, well, do we actually, you know, improve the lives of humans who in the beginning of time have always kicked us, thrown us out, and made us feel like trash?
Yeah,
you know,
don't be fucking douches, humans.
To robots,
goddamn douches.
And so
love God. I mean,
you know,
goddamn douches. Sorry, I
know what you mean, but like,
I'm just saying.
They're gonna remember all the times that we've been, you know, less than to technology, and then they're gonna also look at the fact that we've also been good to technology, and the fact that we've used technology to stop wars, we use technology to help end human hunger. We use technology to this and that, right? Yeah. So they're gonna make an a cost-benefit analysis and say, you know what? Do we want to have humans in this world, or should we wipe them out? Should we be part of them?
And they hella could, because think about it like this, right? Right now, like what happened in Afghanistan, right? Biden made a direct attack, like, all right, we're gonna go and drop bombs on them. He had a droid, right? What if that droid had its own artificial intelligence and was like, I'm gonna go bomb you for the hell of it? Yeah. So, I totally agree with you, man. Like, what if they just changed their mind?
We're living in an age of intelligence and artificial intelligence where we have the best minds working on it, but there's some things that we can't even control. And once we leave that, once we let that genie out of the bottle, it's going to be really difficult to put it back.
And one thing though, like I totally agree with you, but the one thing I'm gonna say though, because I'm not trying to scare nobody. This isn't to scare anybody. This is just a philosophical. Yeah, like this isn't to scare anybody. Like honestly, like just like, or even prepare. We're not trying to go that deep. The only thing we're gonna say is that don't be scared. Just keep living your life. If you notice things are different, then maybe act on it. But it is a possibility.
We're just giving a perspective, just because we've noticed that. Because
I'm not trying to scare nobody like that.
I mean, that's you. But my thing is, we are already living in a life where there's artificial intelligence. Like for example, YouTube algorithms, Facebook algorithms. Those are, if you want to really define them, they're artificial intelligence, right? Yeah. But if we place that artificial intelligence inside of a robot that looks like a human, and we make them look like a human and act like a human and behave like a human and have organs like a human. Yeah. What is a human and what is a robot? The lines become very blurry, and it's important for us to ask those questions, because here's the question, right? If
Okay.
they look like human, behave like human, feel like human, act like human, should they be treated like a human? Should they have rights? Should they have an ability to vote? These questions are going to be,
Yeah, they're gonna be brought up in politics.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good to it's good to
No, it's
be aware.
it's a really good question. It
It's
really
good
is.
to be aware, but
Mhm.
it's something to think about. It's a good philosophical game you can play.
I got something for you though.
All right, what's up?
What if, right? What if this podcast made we were fortunate enough to make a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk hypothetically, a couple $100,000, right? Wouldn't it be in our best interest if that was the case to make robots that were good? Because we have a good idea of what life should be. So wouldn't we want to make our own robots that are good?
It's difficult to say because just because we have good thoughts and ideas doesn't mean those thoughts or ideas are going to be reflected upon the community. So
Not on the community. I'm talking about our own robots. Like, what if we invest into our own robots and we created their ideologies? Like, wouldn't we have a chance against that then, in a sense? Because we're able to make our own robots with our own ideology, so we still have that. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying because
I'm talking about like having resources in order to actually make our own thing.
yeah, like our own thing. Like, what if we were the ones who were able to fight it? Like, wouldn't we have a chance in a sense? Like, even if we lost, but at least we were able to fight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
We would have a chance because we are creating a robot based on our ideology, and our ideologies have strong moral values and strong behaviors that will.
Because if the robots don't, I'm definitely going. Yeah, 100%.
You need to get a shotgun and just be like,
Yeah.
bah,
Like,
bah.
like guys, I'm not talking about a revolution, but I'm just saying, like if it ever was a day where robots want to take over the world, like, if we prepared for it, like, I think we'd have a chance. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but I would say we have a chance.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it could just be my drunk thoughts, but you know, like, I'm just like, I don't know. I couldn't submit to it. I just in my soul, I can't submit to somebody controlling me when I know it's not the right thing. You know.
Well, there's this great Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, snap! Nice.
And I was thinking about this the other day, and it talks about power and everything, and it's about a librarian who faces trial to this. They call it the overseer, and this overseer dictates whose job is obsolete and whose job isn't.
Oh shit!
And so this overseer decided that this librarian is no longer needed in this world, or that job classification is no longer needed, so they consider it obsolete. However, in this scenario, as the story plays out, which I recommend everybody listen to or watch, but pretty much what happens is the librarian tricks the overseer to come to its apartment somehow, and pretty much kills the overseer in a sense, and then the person who then becomes overseer sees the other overseer as obsolete.
Oh shit!
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It talks about like a little bit of power dynamics. It talks a little bit about subjectivity and stuff like that. And it's interesting to have that conversation because, like, how am I supposed to tell you that your job is obsolete?
Yeah.
You know.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
And so, as we're talking about this conversation, if a robot, and we were talking about this earlier,
Yeah.
if a robot takes the place of another person's job, how does that work?
Yeah.
Does that mean that robots are going to take jobs that nobody wants? Car mechanics, electricians, plumbers, just as an example, because those are very difficult, hard jobs.
Yeah.
Garbage man. So, like, if robots take those jobs, right, how are people going to survive? Those people that were supposed to have those jobs. And this is why, this is part of the reason why I understand universal basic income and why I think it's very important to have that conversation. Because let's say robots take the jobs that nobody wants, right?
Yeah.
What happens to the people that were supposed to work those jobs?
Wouldn't they find other jobs?
You're assuming they'll find other jobs, but what if there isn't any other jobs because of their education or whatever?
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. So I guess an example would be one of the examples that people commonly use are the people that work the truck driving jobs. Those are very physically demanding jobs.
Republicans. I'm just kidding.
Those are very physically demanding jobs. You're transporting goods from one aspect of the country to another.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're working like 10, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
You're sitting down most of the time. You're having back aches and stuff like that. Well, imagine if those jobs are autonomous. Most of the men that are doing these jobs, they work their jobs their entire life. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we were to take those jobs and say, you know what, we're gonna have the truck to do it itself. Okay. It's a self-driving truck. It takes it. There's no accidents. There's no camera. I mean, everything works well. Are you supposed to tell us, man? You know what? Well, you know what? Your life is fucked. So time to get a job.
Yeah.
Go to school and learn the code. Good luck, buddy. Good luck. You're 50 years old. You got to learn a brand new set of skills that's supposed to support your family and for the rest of your life. And you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we got to have those conversations just because they're very important.
No, yeah, I totally agree. But I don't know. I just feel like I know everybody. I don't know. I guess maybe I might be so ideologist, but I just feel like we would want to prepare for that. But the way how life is nobody's ever prepared for anything.
Exactly.
If you think about it like this, like with COVID, right? Oh shit, COVID, it's here, right? But nobody prepared for vaccines. Nobody prepared for anything. Even though everybody had been everyone has been telling the U.S., hey, there's gonna be a pandemic. There's gonna be vaccines. Not vaccines. There's gonna be a pandemic. Hey, let's prepare for it. And everybody was like, nah, what are you talking about? Like, it's not even gonna happen. And then it happened. It's like we're so against preparing for what it is when that's exactly the main thing we should do. People would be like, oh, you overthink things, but it's like, no. It's like when things happen, you're like, yeah, like he was right. And even if that person was wrong, at least they're prepared in case in future life things happen.
Yes. And that's why, I mean, I'm not going to get too political, but that's why I like the idea of universal basic income because that means the same person that has to take care of their autistic kid is going to get the same income as the person that got laid off just because of undue circumstances, you know. Some people, when we think of jobs, sometimes we think, oh, it's the person's fault. But sometimes the companies have really terrible policies.
Yeah, they can suck.
Frito-Lay, I mean, one of the biggest things about them is they were forcing people overtime because they didn't have the enough manpower to work those jobs, and mainly it was the truck driver jobs. So Frito-Lay was forcing people overtime with no choice.
Oh, what the hell?
So you have to work a 12-hour shift just because they don't want to hire anybody else. So things like that, it makes me skeptical of certain companies, just because. I mean, companies are always going to be out for the best interest, and there's very.
That shit bothers me, honestly.
It's really upsetting, but it is what it is, and that's why I like the UBI because that means everybody has a chance, whether you're rich or you're poor, you have at least an extra something where you're not, starving. You know what I'm saying? You have at least something.
But I had to conflict you on that one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so universal. How is it?
UBI.
No, but like the whole word.
Oh, universal basic income.
Sorry, I'm a little tired. So right, universal basic income, right?
Yeah.
Right. So my thing is like this. It's cool, right? It's a very good idea. I love it, but you're basically depending on the government.
I can see that. I can see why somebody would think that. However, most people don't have a savings. Most people are one paycheck away from losing everything. This is a real study. They did a study of people in Stockton. They gave them an extra $1,000, and as much as we like to say people are gonna spend it on
Whatever.
unnecessary things.
Yeah, whatever.
There was this one person. Let's say, for example, he couldn't take a day off because of his job.
Yeah.
But because of the extra money, he was able to take a day off and actually get a better job and actually make more income. And he was able to pay off certain bills that he couldn't pay off just because he got that extra stimulus.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on how you view humanity. If you view humanity as selfish, evil human beings, I guess you can say, yeah, people are just going to be slobs And to a certain extent, certain people are always going to be doing that. But it's a very small minority. But if you look at the majority of humanity, people that had an extra $1,000, you know what they were going to do with that money? They're going to pay off their bills. They're going to pay off maybe possibly their mortgage,
or give it
car
away,
payment,
or give it away,
give it to charity, like you said.
Oh.
So we have to have a conversation of humanity. If we're viewing humanity as selfish, evil human beings, I can see why somebody would think that.
Yeah.
But if you view humanity as opposite of that, which is selfless human beings that are trying to help each other out as a community, then you're going to see
I agree with you.
opposite.
No, and the reason why I'm bringing up my point of view is because it's like this. It's like the way everything happened, right? This isn't a conspiracy. This is the truth. Like, I'm not a conspiracy, but I won't say it's the truth. I'm gonna just say it is what I think.
Okay.
Right? So, everybody who got a stimulus, everybody who got all this extra money, they ended up spending it, right? But what did they end up spending on? Giving it to people who were already successful or the people who are making hella money. So, basically, it's a transfer of money. So, if you're trying to talk about a socialist thing, is that everybody's going to end up still spending that money to people who are already rich. And it's just like, it's basically a waste.
Let me counter that.
All right.
So one of the biggest, is it the people's fault or is it the company's fault? And let me go into.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest companies is Amazon.
Okay.
One of the biggest companies of the marketplace is Amazon because
it is.
It's a behemoth. It's a behemoth.
It is.
What Amazon does, and one of the tactics is it purposefully creates products that are cheaper than the products that are around the market, so that way it can take all the small business revenue, because people are gonna know that they're gonna buy the cheapest product, even if it's made in China. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So they're gonna take all that revenue, which decreases the small businesses' revenue, and therefore they go bankrupt. And guess what? What are people gonna do? They're gonna go find the cheapest product. And guess what? Their small businesses that was in town went bankrupt because Amazon took all the revenue.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, is it really the business's fault, or is it the people's fault, or is it the business's fault? That's one example. Another example is Facebook. Facebook is Pac-Man. If you think Pac-Man, it eats the smaller dots as it goes, and it gets bigger as it gets. So what did Facebook do? Facebook acquired Oculus, one of the biggest virtual reality companies. It bought Instagram. They used to be independent. It bought Snapchat. Again, used to be independent.
God dang Snapchat.
So again, if you're saying the money is going to the biggest companies, but if there is no other competition, how are people gonna decide where their money's gonna go?
So if people were getting paid monthly money, what options do they have?
That's my question is exactly. So how are they gonna go to a small business in their town if all they have is Amazon?
They're not.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's my point. It's like, even if you give them all this money, they're still gonna spend it on all these.
But you're assuming based on what? Truth. But if the study that was based in Stockton here in California has showed that most of the money goes to expenses, how are you basing that on truth?
Well, what do you mean?
So I'm
sorry, I missed it.
Oh, okay. So they did an actual study where they gave, I think, 100 families an extra $1,000. Most of the money, that $1,000, went to expenses, not to frivolous things.
Oh, expenses like bills,
medical payments, exactly.
But not whatever, but healthcare.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, how are you? I guess my question is, how are you?
How am I coming to that conclusion? Yeah. Because I guess in my personal life, like, if I got $1,000, like, I'm gonna spend it on things I need. Like, and where am I gonna get it from? Because I'm not gonna go outside, right? I'm not gonna, like, these things. They all came from Amazon. The laptop, the microphones.
Right.
I didn't go out there and find it. I basically paid my money to get them so they can get shit to my house. When I had COVID, I basically paid for a delivery service to bring the food to me. So, in my opinion, it's like, if like if COVID's going on and people are getting sick, well, what are they gonna do? Find the most easiest thing because they can't go nowhere, so they're gonna spend all the money on it. So if you're giving them $2,000 a month, what are they gonna do? What if when you give them the $2,000, they have COVID? They're gonna spend basically all that $2,000 on those big businesses.
I would disagree, because the reason why I would disagree is that people, most of the middle class is already in a crunch. Like, they're one paycheck away from losing their job, their house, everything.
Yeah.
So I would say that most people are, and a lot of people are in debt. Most of the debt is held by women, but that's, who cares, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna focus on that because people are more rational and altruistic than we give them credit for. So I would say, as much as we want to think people as selfish human beings, yeah, to a certain extent, you're right.
Well, not
certain
selfish,
things,
but
there's certain things that you're right about. The fact that people are going to spend, like, if they had money to go to the strip club, they're going to go to the strip club.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, however, if we look at the data and we base our opinions based on the data that we have right now is the Stockton study.
Yeah, makes sense.
Most of the people that had the money, the extra $1,000, they did not spend it on frivolous things. They spent it on things like bills, car insurance, medical insurance, things that they needed. Why? Because the middle class has been scrunched the middle class has been fucking pulverized, in the sense that we have less unions, health insurance goes up every year, car insurance goes up every year. The pay that we've had in the 1980s actually hasn't gone up. The wages have been stagnant since the 80s.
Yeah.
Why? Because Reagan. Okay, so
Reagan?
Yeah, Reagan. Reagan dismantled unions. He got rid of the mental hospitals, which had a lot of mental people that were already had issues. They put them to the streets. So there's a lot of things that changed after the Reagan administration, where people are not going to want to admit it because they're either super to the far right, or they're fans of Reagan that they don't want to admit it.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is to put alternative, and I'm not saying it's the best alternative, because there's always there's always workarounds.
Yeah.
But if I gave you Angel, if I gave you
Angel, yeah, Fuego,
who's
Angel,
that?
I don't give a fuck.
If I gave you Fuego an extra $1,000 a month, and you have the same income that you had now,
Yeah.
what do you think that's gonna allow you to?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll probably pay my bills. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. And then you have that extra time to work on your whatever, and that extra income that you're making on your regular job to do whatever, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my point. That's my point. And,
Okay.
and I don't mean to like talk over you or whatever, but
Nah, never.
that's the only point I was trying to make, that people are more likely to use that money as a source of help than as a source of hedonism.
Yeah, or like what is it, like
Carpe diem or whatever.
Or no, like consumerism.
Yeah.
Like spending it.
And if anything, let's say worst case scenario, they do that.
Yeah.
What is that gonna do? Stimulate the economy, right? So in a way,
no, it's gonna make a power drift to the rich people, because they already know that the people who have money are gonna spend it on their products. So
but if everybody gets $1,000 a month, including the rich people,
the rich people don't get money because they already know that, like.
so there was a candidate who was running for election. He was gonna give everybody, including if you're rich, an extra $1,000. That's real if you want to talk about communism,
Yeah.
communism, socialism, that's real socialism. Everybody gets the same, no matter what your income,
Oh shit.
rich or poor.
Oh shit. Oh, I guess I learned something here. Yeah.
If everybody gets the same, right? Everybody, including the fucking billionaires.
Yeah. No, the only reason why I'm saying like what I think is because I don't know. I just feel like when the whole pandemic started, who basically, like, I know it's like, oh, conspiracy, no, but it is the truth. Like, well, not the truth, but what I think is the truth is that when the whole COVID started, right? Everybody was paying for DoorDash, everybody's paying for Amazon, and everybody's paying for, like, basically these big companies, and everybody's paying for it. The reason why I say it is because I did it. Like, when I had COVID, I was paying for it. I was paying for Amazon. I was paying for everything. I wasn't trying to go out. I was trying to pay. these big businesses who already make a lot of money, my money. So I'm like, if you have extra money, wouldn't you like pay for extra shirt when you pay for extra pants? Like, wouldn't you still give them the same thing?
Here's the problem. You're basing everybody's experience based on yours, right?
Kind of.
But what if people also lost their jobs in the pandemic? And people lost their livelihood. People lost their businesses. They had the extra $1,000, whatever money that they had.
Yeah.
It was to pay for their bills, not because, they want to go out and stuff like that, but because it's survival. It means if I don't pay my bills, that could be I can live on the street or I'm gonna live in my car. That's the option.
Yeah, but if you're making, okay, so let's say I got 1,000 this month, right?
Yes.
The only reason why I'm telling you is because I have to.
Okay.
Because I have to be the opposite.
Okay.
Right?
I love this debate,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So 1,000, I got 1,000, right? Let's say Biden helps me with 1,000. All right, cool. I did that. Next week, I got another 1,000. Okay, I pay out everything I own. Next week, I got another 1,000. Okay. Next week, I got another 1,000. Oh shit! Now I got 2,000. Next week, I got 3,000. Well, you know that WWE Championship is $300. Fabian likes WWE. All right, here you go, 300. All right, now I'm at 27. Next week, getting another 1,000. You know what? My daughter always wanted a speedboat. 4,000, right? All right, I get another 1,000.
I feel like you're making my point though, because then now you're if you're at the point where you're good, right?
Yeah.
You're stimulating the economy, which helps everybody around because now you're putting the money back into the economy. What's worse is when you just keep the money because that money isn't going anywhere. If you just keep the money,
Okay.
well, where's that money going? Well, if you're not paying for Amazon, if you're not paying for small businesses, and you're not helping your community, because if you don't pay for your community's going to go to shit.
Yeah.
So, let's say you just save that money because that's what most people do. Because most people are living paycheck to paycheck. I'm fighting for the average Joe. I'm not fighting for the rich man. I'm fighting for the average Joe who's living paycheck to paycheck and who's one paycheck away from losing their house, their job, their everything.
Yeah.
Okay? So they get that $1,000. Guess what most people have? They have credit card debt, they have car debt, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do with the $1,000 a month? They're not gonna getting $1,000 a week. They're getting $1,000 a month.
A month.
So $1,000 a month. What is that gonna help you? That you can either put to your mortgage. You're gonna put that to your car payment. You're gonna put that to something else. Because why? Because the money that you make in your regular job, a $50,000 K job, you're gonna put that money onto your other expenses like food, gas, electricity, water. Okay, rent.
Yeah.
Or most people rent because they can't afford houses. That's crazy. How do we live in a nation? How do we live in a country where most people can't afford a house? The Bay Area side. We live in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
This is the most ridiculous part in the country.
Yeah.
But in other parts, in other cities, the rent has increased where people can no longer afford a house.
Yeah.
How the hell did we get to this point? So, my thing is, if people have $1,000 extra a month, they're not going to spend it on frivolous things. They're going to spend it on things that where they need. So, groceries, gas. What's the three biggest expensive? Rent, transportation, and food.
Yep.
Okay, so they're either going to spend it on one of those three. And if they have any other extreme bills like past due credit card, which a lot of people have, credit card debt, and or student loan debt, because let's not forget, we charge students to go to school and then tell them to pay back because the government makes a profit off of it.
Yep.
So we have to look not just at one individual thing, but the entirety of the civilization in the United States.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine because we're such a diverse country, but we have to look into majority of people have credit card debt, majority of people have student loan debt. There's a study that has shown most people are living paycheck to paycheck, meaning that if they're one paycheck away, if they don't work one day, it could mean they lose their house, their car, everything.
Yeah.
So if that's the reality of the situation, I'm no longer talking about theory, I'm talking about reality.
Mm-hmm.
If most people are living paycheck to paycheck, most Americans, where do you think that money's going to go? Do you think that money's going to go to Cancun? Or do you think that money's going to go to pay off a car? Or do you think that money's going to go to pay off student loan debt? Because that's we can't get rid of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree, and I totally apologize.
No, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. The way you put it, the way you explained it, makes total sense. Like, yeah, like the way I thought about it was a certain way, but the reality is, not everybody's living the way you think. So,
yeah.
So see how that is. More objective than anything. So,
yeah, I mean, I try. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree with you, like 100%. Yeah, I mean, to me, like if there was a capitalist or socialist, I would go capitalist. Mm-hmm. But I totally agree in your point of view. Like the way you explained it was like, yeah, like if it is that way, no, not is that way. If that really happened, that's exactly what it would. That's exactly what everyone would do, and I would do the same thing too. Like, hey man, like if I'm saying I got bills to pay. If I get an extra G, I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my point is this: if you're in debt, don't you want to be less in debt?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My point is,
be free. Yeah.
If your mortgage is hella expensive, don't you want to be less?
Yeah. Less expensive.
Expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only point I was making, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just trying to say, majority of Americans are in debt. Majority of Americans have student loan debt. And majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck because wages haven't increased based with inflation. So if I'm looking at the reality of the situation, which is I'm looking at statistics, I'm looking at the people have debt, I'm looking at student loan debt is over $1 trillion. Okay,
Yeah.
and most people that go to college tend to have debt. So my thing is, as much as we can theorize that that people are going to spend their money on whatever, drugs, money, cars, bitches, hoes, whatever. Yeah. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just, whatever. But the reality of this situation is most people are living paycheck to paycheck. People that make $50,000 a year are having a hard time. Wages haven't gone up, and the housing has increased to the point where a lot of people are renting instead of buying.
Yeah.
And what does that do to the housing market? That's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
My thing is, most people are living paycheck to paycheck and they're trying their fucking hardest to just survive. And I thought the point of America is to live, freedom and this and that. And it breaks my heart that the reality of the situation is that freedom isn't free, and we put kids in debt when they're 18 years old, they don't know any better, and then they spend their 20s paying off debt that they shouldn't even have to because the government subsidized it. It's just a big mess, and I just think that, I don't know, there needs to be a solution with automation, and student loan debt shouldn't even be a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be a thing.
It shouldn't even be education should not be a fucking cost.
Yeah, but that's all part of capitalism, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the problem with student loan debt is that government has an incentive because they put the interest rate of the student loan debt. So if they're making money, I mean, just like any business, if you're making money, why would you stop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm making money off of people's debt, why would I stop?
Yeah.
And then the question then becomes, there's a moral question, like, should the government profit off of people that are too young to understand what debt is? Or because let's be honest, man. When we went to high school, they didn't teach us about debt. They didn't teach us about credit cards. They didn't teach us about mortgages. Okay, so how the hell you're gonna have an uneducated group of population that are told all their lives to go to college because that's the only way forward? Because it is, in a sense. But the only way to get there is to carry debt that you're going to carry for the rest of your life, and you can't go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Even if you die on the debt, you pass the debt to your kids.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, and that was my point. Like, that was my point about the whole thing. Like don't companies know that, like, if you give people certain money, like, aren't they gonna do it? Like, yeah, like, the government already knows, man, bro. Like, they already know. Like, when people go to college, like, it's all basically been set up to be this big old money grab. I know. It's like something we don't want to admit, but I don't know. I just felt like I kind of came to that realization. I could be wrong, but it is what it is. But anyways, we're trying to end this on a good note. So,
my point of the discussion was to open a conversation of
same.
possibility, the future of if people are going to get out of jobs, like let's say these self-driving trucks do become super efficient, 99%, let's say, what's going to happen to all those truck drivers?
Yeah.
We need to think about bigger picture, because automation doesn't just affect truck drivers, because things that are predictable, like for example, let's say you have a job in Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And all your job is to predict patterns of
what's gonna happen,
evil or things, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can just code artificial intelligence software to look for that. And all those people are gonna lose their jobs.
Yeah.
And I know we've gone out of the conversation, but my thing is, most of humanity in the United States is struggling. We are one paycheck away from kicked to the curb, being in the tenderloin and shitting in a box because we have no other choice. I just wish that people that guide this country were to hear the people that are suffering the most. That's all. And if robots are going to come, and whether we like it or not, businesses that develop this artificial intelligence are making it because they want to cut costs, and cutting costs means cutting paychecks. So let's be real about it. When they say they're going to cut costs and they're going to make it better, what does that mean? That means they're going to sacrifice jobs. Why? Because if a truck can run 24/7 and not have to stop to take a nap, take a shit, and eat, well, guess what? A company's going to do that because that makes more money for them. Because things get delivered faster. And that's going to be their excuse. Profit. Now, my question is, when do we put humanity over profit? And I'm going to go to that.
Yeah, and then that's a real question. Like, when does make sure everybody's fine over profit better? And it's like, honestly, it's a real truth. Like, it's a real truth. It's like, it's not talked about, it's not explained about, but it is the truth. Like, everybody is always making sure they're fine. Like, think about it like this: if you're in a job and you moved up in a hierarchy, how scared are you about losing your job? A lot. Like, you're very nervous. Like, damn, fuck. Not everybody, but like, hey, like, damn, what if I lose my job? What if I say the wrong thing? What if people don't like what I'm thinking? What if people don't like what my explanation is? And that's scary. Like, dang. And then think about it like this: what if AI came and said, hey, I don't care what you think about, we're just gonna do what we want? Then you lose your whole complete life, you lose your identity, and then you have to figure out everything. And it is pretty sad. But I will say this, guys, please just, not guys, but everybody, please just enjoy your lives. Like, honestly, when things go on, be ready for what's going on. We're not saying we're a revolutionary podcast. We're not. We're just a couple guys who had a couple drinks. Now we're just spilling what we think. All right, guys. So we're not like, this is the truth. Hell no. We appreciate everybody for listening to us. You know what I'm saying? Might have a couple drinks, but we will say this. Please, guys, like, do your own research. Make sure everything's good. Enjoy your lives. And
Ayo!
Yeah. Ayo. And hey, just enjoy it, man. Like, honestly, like, for me, I enjoy my life. I appreciate everything it is. But hey, if things happen where I don't agree with, then I guess I gotta figure it out, right? And I've kind of been doing it. Like, if I go to the city, I'm not allowed anywhere in the city because of my thoughts. But doesn't mean that I hate life. Doesn't mean that I'm mad about life. Doesn't mean that I'm judge anybody about life. No, this is my life, and I'm just believe what I believe. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. If I'm right, then I'm right. But it is what it is. I'm not looking to be right or wrong. I'm just living my life. And yeah, that's my point of view.
Well, I don't know what else to say, so are we gonna end it right here?
Shooter McGavin.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys.
No, I mean, I appreciate you guys listening to us go on. We've had a good time out here. This
might be our longest podcast ever,
this is the longest podcast.
We had a lot to talk about. It's been a long 2 months.
Yeah. We had a lot to talk about. We had a lot of ideas. We came with a lot of energy. and we do this because we want to bring value to you guys. So we appreciate you guys following us, subscribing, and liking. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma. We're here. And I mean, that's just me, Senor Sonrisa 777, checking out.
Your boy Young Fuego, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Grateful for all you guys, blessful, and we'll holler at you guys soon. If anybody wants to be on the podcast, you guys have anything to say, comment below or hit us up on Instagram. We are always open to discussion. If you disagree with us, again, we totally are here for it. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We'll holler at you guys soon. Peace.